Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Arnold Anderson Stadium in lovely Brantford, Ontario for a Friday night of IBL action as your Brantford Red Sox take on the visiting Barrie Baycats, a team that is red hot here, 9-1 in their last 10 games, and a premier team looking to move their way up the IBL standings. As always here on IBL Brantford Red Sox YouTube, it is Marshall Crocker on the call today on Play-by-Play. Joined alongside me today is Brian Hawley, fresh off an episode we just filmed for the all-new Brantford Red Sox Report. So he's been in the studio today. He's got a little bit of prep. He and I are warmed up on the microphone. And today we're calling a game that, with the Kitchener Panthers starting to get hot lately, is the make-or-break game for this Red Sox playoff push.
Oh, 100%, yeah, and it's not a good time to run into Barrie. You can tell that the playoffs are around the corner, because Barrie's getting hot, and they just always seem to get better as the game wears on. The good news for Brantford is that Ryan Riho, and I don't, obviously want to wish hateful stuff on him, but Ryan Riho is not dressed tonight for the Barrie Baycats. In fact, he's injured and won't be at the All-Star game next week. And so that's one big bat that the Brantford Red Sox pitching staff will be really happy to not have to deal with today. Having said that, though, they've got a good, solid lineup, a lot of power, a lot of pop in that lineup. And tonight's starter is a guy that is a difficult fellow to deal with, too.
Yeah, we're waiting for the sun to go down here. A sun delay similar to last Friday's game that you saw against Barrie a week ago. We're going to jump to our starting pitcher matchup because that's really going to be the big talking point here for today's game. This is a high-leverage matchup for a certain Colby Klepper, often a relief pitcher. This will be his first proper start of the season. He's been good coming in middle relief. He's really strong at the start of the year. A couple guys have started to overshadow him out of the bullpen here. Pretty solid ERA, but it's just that sample size. Only 22 innings pitched against Juan Benitez. Maybe you could start against him. You're pretty familiar. Juan Benitez is going to be the guy on the mound today for Barrie, and the only reason he's not the number one guy in that rotation is because Frank Garces is who he is.
Yeah, whenever Frank Garces is around, he's the de facto ace for this team. But Juan Benitez is a real study. He's a throwback type of a pitcher. He's a tall, lanky kid, throws hard, nice off-speed stuff. And here's the thing about him. When I say throwback, he reminds us old fellas of a guy like Jack Morris, where you could get a hit off him, you could get a walk off him, get two runners. But as soon as he gets runners in scoring position, he gets extra tough. He really bears down and gets good quality pitches and engages in soft contact and gets out of innings. He's so very frustrating. I recall going up there, I was telling you the story off air, where we went up to Barrie and Billy Matatich was off sick in that game. So that was my managerial debut up in Barrie, and Juan Benitez was pitching for Barrie. We had 9 hits and four walks and an error, so 14 base runners. We lost the game 3-2 because every time we got runners in scoring position, he'd make a big pitch to get out of it. So he's a tough nut to crack. It's one thing to get on, it's another thing to bring those runners in. So it's going to be really important for Brantford hitters to bear down on those high leverage at bats and have quality at bats, and at very least have quality outs so you're moving runners along.
Well, we talk about the other side for Colby Klepper. The big talking point has been the start of games lately. We really talk about the importance of those first 3 innings, that first time through the rotation. Let's actually, if we can, we'll pull up the starting lineup for Barrie. We'll see if we can find who they got starting today, because they really have threats all the way throughout the lineup. And there's perhaps no better case for that if you watched a week ago with Mark Perret as the color commentator that night. That game against Barrie, Noah Hull, who was hitting in the 8th spot that night. He's hitting in the 7 tonight. You see here up on screen, Noah Hull hitting 7 today. 2 home runs in that contest for him. Yeah, then you talked about Adam Ott earlier. He's got a little bit of power in that bat, hitting in the 9 hole. There's really no spot off. Any guy has power upside. So as soon as Barrie can get a guy on base, any spot in their lineup can potentially send him home with one swing, which is maybe a skill we lack. But tell me a little bit more about Adam Ott. You talked about him pregame.
Well, he's a good ball player. He's a very good defensive second baseman, and he's got a lot of pop. And he's not a guy that's going to have a high average, but he's a guy who will get you if you're not careful. He's a mistake pitch hitter. When you make a mistake to him, he tends to barrel it up, and he has the power to knock it out of just about any ballpark in the league. Now, I also, on top of that, you were talking about Noah Hull. I watched him take batting practice today. You will go a long distance before you find the ball exploding off a bat like Noah Hull does. He's not a really big guy, but it just explodes off his bat there. So both of those guys, even though they're in the bottom third of the order, to your point, it's just a tough order to negotiate, and so it'll be a real tall order for Colby Klepper today.
Let's flip it around to the Brantford defense. We'll see here in the top of the first inning as soon as the sun sets behind the trees out here in the Arnold Anderson outfield. So there's the Brantford Red Sox defense on your screen now. A little bit of a different look today, Brian. First thing that stands out to viewers, new name there on the screen, Jacob Cantor going to get the start today at shortstop, his first appearance this season for the Brantford Red Sox, new face at that shortstop position, and that's really been our storyline the last couple of weeks. When Max Schmarter left this team, we really thought it was going to be Lucas Lefebvre, who starts at second today, taking all the brunt force of the defensive responsibility at shortstop. You talked about Jose Vinicio potentially being an option. He's back off the roster. He's been cut again. So that there is so much trial and trepidation about that shortstop position. Jacob Cantor comes in today, and in a game where limiting base runners, especially in the early innings, is going to be so crucial, a lot of pressure if you're a debut rookie coming in at that spot, not even getting warmed up at second.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see him. I'll be honest with you. I don't know a lot about him. So having said that, the Brantford Red Sox have been bringing in a lot of good, talented players, and we expect that he's going to be able to play solid defense for them. The other thing that I noticed defensively, and we'll notice as the lineup comes up, is that no Paulus today.
Right.
And
Black
so
will start out there in center field.
Normally he's out in center field and Black's over in right field. And then the other thing, too, is the shakeup of the batting order, which was a bit of a surprise to us up here in the booth, with Brody Black leading off and Ortega moving from the 4-hole up to the 2-hole, and Takioka dropping down from 1 to 3. So I guess they're going to try and get some production out of that 3 spot. They tried Watt there on Sunday with Hamilton, and he did okay. I thought he had one hit that knocked in the runs later on in the game when they were all struggling earlier on against Salcedo Reyes for Hamilton. But, you've got a real good batting order here, so let's hope that they can get on Benitez and finish the job, drive those runs in.
I think that there's a positive looking at the defense as well. Cassidy Watt back as the starting catcher. I believe on Sunday when you were here, it was Bateman was getting that start at catcher. You talked about he's got some good lateral quickness to him, but again, we've talked about how important that catcher-pitcher rapport is, that continuity. Cassidy Watt's got that. He's been steadfast, and he's a really good power upside for a catcher. And Lucas Bateman today getting that DH call. We've rotated between Jeremy Veilleux had it. The big question I'll actually point out now is Andrew Savage still. He's a question mark on the roster. He's not getting appearances at games. I haven't heard about an injury, but he's a guy that I thought may start to take that DH spot more consistently, if not play third base, where Chris Ortega starts today. So an interesting situation there, but Bateman gets the call at DH.
Well, the big splash in Guelph when he first came in with 3 hits, and, I thought he was solid. He gave them some third base. He gave Watt a day off behind the plate, but you're right, we haven't seen him in a couple of weeks now. So we're going to have to talk to the Brain Trust and find out if he's actually still around, if he's injured, what's going on there. So I'm not really sure. So, with the change in the batting order, the change defensively, and, of course, Kobe Klepper, a middle relief type of guy, getting the start for them tonight, it's going to be a really interesting situation tonight's game, that's for sure.
So it's going to be Aiden Colangelo, the manager, as posted today for the Brantford Red Sox. You'll see him on your screen wearing a kind of blue sweatshirt kind of deal out there. You might see him later in the broadcast. We got a little more time. The sun is almost behind the trees. Let's put up your Brantford Red Sox offensive lineup today. We'll scroll through here your starting lineup for the Red Sox. And we talk a little bit about that different look today. Big thing for me, Brody Black leading off today. That's going to be really fun to watch, see what he provides about just pure getting on base ability. Ortega starts at third. He's second in the lineup today. And you talk about Takioka there in the all-important 3 spot. Watt, Bateman, and then Cantor. So not, too dissimilar positionally from what we usually see. Torres, DeVapel, and Lefebvre. And then you'll see up on here on screen Colby Klepper, your pitcher. But the big thing I want to point out there is that 7-8-9, because we've really tried to talk about, all right, if these guys can step up, if they can elevate, if they can start sending home that very strong middle of the order, because the guys like a Cassidy Watt, like a Lucas Bateman, have been exceptional this month of July at getting in positions to succeed. And then these guys at the end, if they can get on base, it's with walks, it's with little bloop singles. If any guys, specifically DeVapel and Torres, and have power upside today, that's going to go a long way to making sure this lead doesn't balloon.
Absolutely. I think of Bateman specifically, who has not only been getting on base, but he steals bases as well as one of the few guys in this lineup that does run.
Right.
I mean, statistically, the Red Sox are in the top half of the league in stolen bases, but let's face facts. A lion's share of those stolen bases is Takioka, right? So Bateman stealing bases. I believe he stole 2 on Sunday. And so getting him into scoring position is going to be important for the bottom half of that lineup, to your point, to get him in, especially when you got a pitcher like Benitez out there who is renowned for how tough he is with runners in scoring position. So it's not only the run production that I look at as far as this lineup. you want to get these guys on base so you turn the lineup over.
Right.
Get back to Black and Ortega and Takioka. And so that's another thing that's important. If you're starting off in the 5-hole in any given inning, a couple of those guys get on base. Even if you don't drive a run in, you're bringing up the top of the order in the following inning. And so, the bottom of the order, that's really the only thing I think that separates Brantford from being a very top batting order in this league is production out of the bottom. We saw it out of the Leafs a couple of weeks ago when the bottom third was really driving the Brantford pitchers nuts. The bottom of the Hamilton order produced as well. And so you can bet that the bottom of this Barrie order is most likely to produce, as they often do as well. Noah Hull, Plumpton, and Adam Odd. And so at the end of the day, they need to get production from all parts of the batting order, because it's go time, ladies and gentlemen. Brantford Red Sox fans, it is go time, because they need to start stringing some wins together and start making a playoff push with about 15 games to go.
Well, let's pull up if we can. We should have the IBL standings board here. We'll show you as of today, as of June 18th, July 18th, pardon me, following yesterday's action. You see now the Kitchener Panthers now tied in wins with the Guelph Royals, 11-18, 11-19 for Kitchener. Two all-important wins back-to-back for the Kitchener Panthers. That gap now 3.5 games, because Kitchener has 2 games in hand on us here in Brantford. But we're getting down to the wire. 16 games left in the season. Things happen, very quickly in the IBL. Comebacks are possible, not just within a game, but within a span of games. If you told Kitchener 2 days ago that they'd have 2 wins back-to-back against top half of the league teams, they would have said you were crazy. So anything is possible. But that's what we say. Games like today, you don't have the luxury of waiting for those bottom feeder quote-unquote teams. You can't wait for a Kitchener, for a Guelph. You only got Kitchener one more time. I believe you got one more Guelph, but then you're facing power teams like Barrie, who are trying to get playoff seeding. This is a meaningful game for them. Case in point, they don't have a game the rest of the week, but Juan Benitez is getting the start today against Brantford. So I think you got to start shocking the world. You got to start beating teams you don't expect. And today, if you want to close that 5-game gap, is a crucial one for the Red Sox. I
agree 100%. It's like I said before, it is go time. And it's time to start playing your best baseball right now. And it's going to be very interesting. There's been so many new faces on this team. It's going to be very interesting to see how this team coalesces, how it comes together, how it gels, and see if they can get it happening.
And then the All-Star game on Sunday. Don't forget to check that game out there in Hamilton. But the Hamilton Cardinals, before the All-Star game on Sunday, they have a road contest today against London. So this game big for Barrie, because London, with a win, would surpass them, take over that 2 spot. And the way the bracket's shaping out, it really comes down to your pick of Toronto, Guelph, or Kitchener in terms of seeding. I don't know what the consensus would be in terms of, Kitchener started to look better now. The Guelph Royals, I believe, are on a 5-game losing skid. So I think it may depend on where they shake out between Toronto, Guelph, and Kitchener, where you want to be top of the league seeding. But that London-Hamilton game is huge. And Barrie, that's why these games are still big, because Welland's got that top spot locked up. But it is meaningful, right? You know firsthand from a couple seasons ago working with Kitchener, who you play in the first round and beyond is a huge deal.
It means everything. We drew London in the first round, and first of all, that means Owen Boone, who's now with Hamilton, but when he was with London, IBL fans don't need to be reminded about Owen Boone.
No.
One of the top 3 pitchers of the decade, in my humble opinion, in this league. And we got a face full of him. He pitched in 3 different games. I believe the number was something ridiculous, like 340 pitches he threw against us in a 5-game series. And it was, as we talked about on Red Sox Weekly earlier today, it took a 3-run home run by Marcel Lacasse in Game 5 in the 6th inning to turn a 3-2 deficit into a 5-3 lead. And so, when you get into the playoffs, you run into a Barrie and you get Garces and you get Benitez, and then you go up against London. London's full of pitching this year. Welland is Welland, obviously.
Right.
And even Guelph. You look at Guelph, and you never know who's going to be pitching for them. You say, well, we want to play Guelph. Try and get a handle on Guelph. Guelph looked completely lost early in the season, and then they got hot to put some distance between they and the Brantford Red Sox, and then all of a sudden they've lost 5 straight again.
Yep.
So, it's so hard to get a handle on what that Guelph team is. Kitchener looked dead. They looked absolutely flat when Brantford beat them, 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they come up with 2 huge wins. They go into Toronto and win, which seems to be what is the going thing, because Toronto can't seem to win at home.
No.
They have a winning record on the road, and yet they have, their splits are absolutely opposite. They've got a horrible record at home.
It's fascinating, yeah.
And normally teams, it's not about the fact that Christy Pitts is a bandbox and easy to hit the ball out. it's about the fact that, generally speaking, the one commonality between the IBL and senior hockey, you generally get your best lineup out at home. You tend to be, if you're going to be missing guys, if guys got a miss time, they're generally on road games. And so when you've got games at home, when you can't win at home, that is a weird thing, especially for Toronto, because they've got guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. So it's just it's been another weird season. 2 through 5 is separated by 2 games, I believe. So, I mean, it's outside of Brantford being like a few games out of the playoff race. It's a totally tight race, and it's going to be a real sprint to the finish.
Well, we are almost there. The sun is mere branches off from going beneath the trees, at which point the sun delay should come to an end. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking with us here. Now 45 minutes past the advertised first pitch time, but we should be ready to go here in just a moment. We're going to make a cheap plug very quickly because here on YouTube, you saw earlier this week, we're going to make more standard postings for the Brantford Red Sox Report on, I'm guessing, Tuesday afternoons is going to be when I try to schedule them. They go live on Brantford, on Rogers TV, whether you be in Brantford or any of the local cable markets, Channel 20, Monday nights at 10 p.m., the Brantford Red Sox Report, hosted by me. Variety of guests is going to be out there weekly. And the first episode is on YouTube. That was with Chris Ortega. But today, Brian, we had you come in the studio for episode 2. Obviously, in terms of people that are well-versed and knowledgeable about baseball, even bigger than just the Brantford Red Sox. You've been everywhere. We could talk to you about anything. And you did a great job. I hope you had a lot of fun with that.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it was a new experience for me being in an actual TV studio. And, life is all about firsts, and today was another one for me. And so I've done a lot of mic work. This first time I've actually worked in one of those fancy schmancy TV studios you got there. So really good stuff. The production staff are fantastic, very helpful. And I thought it went off pretty well, and I hope the folks like it.
Hope you guys enjoy it. We should, the next couple of weeks, I'm hoping to get more advertisement a little bit earlier in advance on the social media about who will be welcoming in. Got 2 more episodes after the one that's going to come out this Monday. I believe our last episode should be the second week of August. I think we got 3 more left in the year. They're going to end when the season ends. So should we make the playoffs, we'll bring you a couple extra bonus episodes going over the Brantford Red Sox playoff push that I think we're all hoping for here in Brantford. Certainly the fans that are here live at Arnold Anderson Stadium are hoping. Good turnout here for a Friday night. We're happy to see some spry and ready and happy faces. We have a visiting team that came out to do the first pitch. A bunch of youngins came out to do the national anthem. And we have a Barrie fan section, as we always seem to here at Arnold Anderson. The fans travel well here around the IBL. Not quite as loud as the Hamilton fans from last week. That was some energy. That was some fun on the broadcast. But we got the Barrie fan section sitting out there on the first base line. Hopefully they're ready for a good day of baseball. Obviously, we're cheering for our home side. But we want everybody that comes out here to Arnold Anderson to enjoy their time spent looking in at the IBL Friday night, Sunday night action. Doesn't matter. Speaking of, remember it's reverse tariff season, ladies and gentlemen, and there's never a more crucial time to cheer for your team than when they're trying to go for a playoff spot with a bunch of home games on the ledger. Because don't forget, we're going to be bi-weekly, or 2 games weekly every week. Friday, Sunday, pretty much the rest of the calendar. Next week, the 25th and the 26th, we have a doubleheader. I believe that's Welland and then London. So literally the 2 top teams in the IBL, plus Barrie. That's what we're saying. We're getting the meat. We're getting the meat of the IBL. We're getting the real tough teams, but at least we're getting them at home. So never a more crucial time to come out to a game than when your team really needs that home energy, unlike, apparently, the Toronto Maple Leafs. We don't want to be them.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. And just to finish your point about the IBL fans, I mean, they are as passionate of fans as any league you've ever followed. It's really wonderful to see week after week when you see the fans coming in from out of town, coming in from Kitchener. With the Panther fans were well represented, the Leaf fans were well represented, Cardinal fans, and a lot of folks making the trip down from Barrie, and they're over 2-hour ride. There's a bunch of guys dressed in full Barrie Baycat uniforms. I know that they sponsor some minor baseball teams. I know that they have a U22 team. For those real hardcore baseball fans, the U22 national qualifiers going on this weekend in Kitchener. And Barrie, unfortunately, was one of the first teams put out. They went 1-2 barbecue, as we used to say. And the Brantford junior team also lost a tough one, 6-5, I think, to Oshawa this morning. And so they're playing currently their second game as well. It's a true double knockout. It really is good baseball. If you get a chance this weekend, folks, go down to Kitchener. They're playing at Couch. They're playing at Bechtel and Waterloo, and they're playing at Lions as well. And these guys are really good. Believe me, I've coached in that league for 3 years now. I've coached in that tournament with the Kitchener Panthers. IBL players are playing there. D1 college players are there. These pitchers are throwing mid-80s to high 80s. The ones throwing in the first couple of games. Really, really good baseball to go see. So all those folks in the Kitchener, Waterloo, Guelph area, go down there and catch some of that action, especially on Sunday when the final 4 or 6 teams are going to be going. You'll see some amazing baseball.
Well, shout out to Zoe in the YouTube chat, fighting the good fight, believing in the Brantford Red Sox, believing that no matter how good the Barrie Baycats are, the Red Sox are going to put up a fight. Carol Wade in the chat there as well. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. I'm excited for a good night of baseball. The sun is almost below. I see Colby Klepper out there on the mound getting ready to warm up. And here's an interesting thing. We haven't had a sun delay this long yet in this young season. We've had a couple delays for weather. But what is 45 minutes, even to a starting pitcher? How much of a difference is that going to make on just getting the yips, really lengthening your warm-up routine?
As long as you have a set time, really all a pitcher is looking for is what time will I throw the first pitch. They have their own, especially at this age, they have their own routine. Their stretching, their long toss, whatever it is they do, whatever their meditation. You know, pitchers are a different kind of dudes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they have a routine, and it's very important for a starting pitcher to have his routine so that he knows exactly what time he's starting, and especially as a home pitcher where you know you're throwing the first pitch of the game. What time is first pitch? 8:15? Okay, so, you know, most of my guys will start stretching out about 7:45 and do a little bit of light running, and then about 8 o'clock they'll start throwing some soft toss and then some long toss, and then they'll start to warm it up.
Well, we played Here Comes the Sun a moment ago in stadium. It's now Here Goes the Sun as it's finally set behind the outfield trees there in the right field area where the scoreboard is, which means Colby Klepper is officially on the mound, ready to get going for today. Let's pull back up the starting pitcher matchup. We'll get you the numbers here for Colby Klepper. And again, you can only project so much, Brian, reliever's numbers off to the actual start when you have to, treat it a little bit more like a marathon. You got to think about your conditioning and about your stamina into the game. But 21 strikeouts to 10 walks, 22 innings pitched, I believe all of that in relief. But he plays deep into ball games and particularly late high leverage innings. That's why he's 1-4, why he has such a high designated record as a reliever. 4.5, one of the better ERAs on this Red Sox team. And I think if you're going to get a guy that's, skill set and his release style lends itself well to starting, I think Klepper might be a good guy. Like a De La Cruz, some guys have a little bit too much of a velocity-centric approach. Klepper, I hope he takes well. 4 to 5 innings from him as a middle reliever would be a godsend from a starting pitcher standpoint.
Well, it's a slow week, and so their bullpen should be full and rested. So if he can't go a long distance, then they should have lots of guys down there that can help out. So at the end of the day, though, you're right. He's got to get some quality innings in him. Frankly, a 4.50 ERA tells you that a 1-4 record's probably a little bit of bad luck as well.
Yeah.
And maybe there's runs going in. I mean, his strikeouts, that's a good number for strikeouts. That's a strikeout an inning, which is pretty much a standard. Walks, only 10 walks in 22 innings. That's not terrible. Maybe a little high, but not a real problem. If you look by comparison, you've got Benitez, who has 12 walks in almost twice as many innings. So it's a few too many walks, but not really a big problem. The thing with Klepper is that he is not overpowering, so he has to pick around the corners. He's got to nibble a little bit. He's got to really pitch. That's the difference. There's a thrower and then there's a pitcher. And Klepper needs to be a pitcher. He needs to mix up his speeds, mix up his up, down, in, out. Getting all the pitches in for strikes. When you're able to throw all your pitches for strikes, then the guys can only go up there and guess. If you're having trouble with any one of those pitches, they go up sitting on that one pitch that you can throw for a strike, and that spells problems for you.
I think the thing I want to see is, in terms of the pitcher matchup, who comes out of the game first, who limits more runs as the starting pitcher matchup on screen. I think a lot of that responsibility falls on the Red Sox offense too, because we've had offense in these ball games, but often it doesn't wake up till the 4th, the 5th, the 2nd or 3rd time through the lineup. If you're the Brantford Red Sox offense, give Colby Klepper a chance to win this matchup. Go out and try to get to Benitez early. Get him out of that ball game his 3rd time through the lineup, and often that 3rd time through is in the 5th or the 6th. Make it the 3rd or 4th today. Try to get him, pitching early, get that pitch count high. We're going to talk about it tonight. And finally, we're ready for some baseball action. Noel McGarry-Doyle, the center fielder, up to the plate, the first hitter of the day for the Barrie Baycats.
A really good leadoff hitter here. He can do anything. He's got good wheels. He's got a little bit of pop in that bat. He won't hit too many home runs, but he can hit the ball into the gap.
We talk about Ren Takioka, who to this point in the season is hitting .459 average. Well, McGarry-Doyle, .413 to this point in the year. Not too far behind. First pitch in, strike on the bottom corner. Will start his day off.
And that's maybe going to be the biggest key tonight for Klepper. Strike one. A lot of people have argued, what's the best pitch to throw a batter? Strike one is the best pitch to throw.
Well, there's strike two. Catches him right down the middle of the plate. McGarry Doyle holds off on a swing, second consecutive pitch.
So Doyle probably thought that was a bit up, but we're trying to set a standard on the upper end of the strike zone in the first couple of at-bats.
Here's the 0-2 from Klepper. That one low in the dirt. Bounces off Cassidy Watt, rolls away, 1-2.
A good waste pitch there. You want to get the ball down. You change the eye angle of the batter, and now, he was thinking up high. He's protecting against that high pitch that is called two called strikes. Then go low and change the eye angle. So you got a couple options. You can go back up high now with hard stuff, or you can maybe backdoor a breaking ball. Going outside here.
Here's the 1-2. That one struck off towards the first base line. DeVaplin can't get a glove on it. Stays fair. McGarry Doyle rounds first. Heading to second. Stand-up double for Noel McGarry Doyle. Leads it off as DeVaplin just misses it with the glove.
Yeah, not a great reaction time out of DeVaplin. Thought maybe he might leave his feet to try and knock that down and save a base, but he couldn't get his glove on it. Good wheels from McGarry Doyle, and that's why, they were trying to go low and away on him, but they got too much of the plate and allowed him to pull the ball. If they get the ball on the outside, then all he can do is roll over on that, and I'm sure DeVaplin gets up with it. So you've got a real bunt situation here, I would think. You got the corners in. Interesting to see how they're going to run this on third base side.
Here's the first of a pair of Hernandez's in the lineup. Brandon, then Francisco. Brandon Hernandez, shortstop. Sitting to this point on the season relatively well. 280 on the year is his batting average. 14 RBIs, 19 strikeouts to only 7 walks.
Klepper seems to have some nice life on that fastball tonight.
Here's the 0-1. That one well struck out towards right field. Ranging back for it is Torres, and gone! Second at bat of the day. First home run against the Red Sox this season for Brandon Hernandez. Opens the lead up early. And in the very first inning and the second batter of the day, Colby Klepper gives up the 2-run home run, 2-0 Baycats.
And I don't want to sound like a homer broadcaster, but that is one of the slowest home run trots I have seen this season.
Very rare this year that the Brantford Red Sox see a home run at home, whether scored by them or scored by the opponent. They allowed only 21 home runs overall in the season heading into tonight. Make that 22 with that 2-run shot.
Well, that was a middle fastball that Hernandez went right into his wheelhouse, and he did not miss it. Boy, he really tattooed that. That was a good 30 feet over the fence.
Well, the second of the pair of Hernandez's, here's Francisco Hernandez, hitting .345 on the young season. That was the second of the year for Brandon Hernandez, his second home run. Francisco takes that first pitch right down the middle for a strike. Klepper's got to shake off the pressure here. That one well wide of the plate. That's not the way you do it. 1-1, even count. It's going to be Nolan Macabrota, the first baseman, up next in the batter's circle.
So to your point, yeah, you want to shake off that start. It's still early. Make a good pitch here. Get him to roll over on one.
That ball just a little bit too high off the inside corner. Ball 2.
Tried to throw a slider, backed up on him.
You think about there that DeVaplin moment where little fielding moments can make a difference. Could have very well been only a 1-run shot had that fielding play gone different. That ball well inside on the hands. Easy 3-1. Lucky he didn't catch his elbow there.
Yeah, like I say, I didn't think he got a real good reaction on that ball. I thought he could at least maybe get a piece of it.
Here's the 3-1 to Francisco Hernandez. That one popped up and over our heads. Going to go to a full count here. No runners on base after Brandon Hernandez's home run a moment ago.
They sure seem to want to pound this Hernandez inside. Now they're going to go outside, assume with a breaking ball.
That ball well far off the plate. First walk of the day for Colby Klepper. And this is what was really killing the Brantford Red Sox starters last weekend, and really all of three of their efforts is these like favorable counts. You know, you get to a 2-strike count and then just can't finish it off. That's what opened this game up, right? Was that 0-2 count, threw the ball, and then that fielding play by DeVapel, and that's how your starting pitcher's pitch count gets so worrying in the early stages. Yeah,
like I say, you get to 2 strikes and you can't close the deal. So they had 2 strikes on McGarry Doyle and couldn't get him out. 2 strikes on Hernandez and couldn't get him out. So not a good start, but it is still very, very early.
Here's Nolan Macabrota. Macabrota hitting .340 on the season, 24 RBIs, 26 strikeouts, but 17 walks. Leads the team by a fair margin.
Yeah, Macabrota's a bad man. He's a really big dude. He can hit the ball a country mile, and if you make a mistake to him, he'll do the same thing Hernandez did a moment ago.
So runner on first after the walk to Hernandez. Here's the 0-1. Well, wide off the plate again. Couldn't quite find that outside corner. 1-1.
So you need to make a good pitch here. If you can get him soft and outside and get him to roll over on something, he is. The one thing about Macabrota, he's a pretty good candidate for a double play.
The 1-1, 2 wide, 2-1. Another ball there off the outside of the plate. Really trying to challenge those edges of the zone, but hasn't found much luck so far.
He's been up a lot, too. I'd like to see the ball down, see if he can get the ball, get himself a ground ball here.
Macabrota not likely to leg out a single. That one sent foul off to the third base line. Count one, I'll go 2-2.
So here we have the third batter in 4 at-bats. It's got to 2 strikes. Let's see if he can seal the deal here. He's got him set up for a backdoor slider, or you can come inside with that slider. I'm not sure I'd throw a fastball to him here.
2-2 could be his first K of the day. That one struck well out to right field. Should stay fair. Yes, it will. Ball gets down, bounces off the outfield fence. Hernandez coming around. He'll go to third. He'll get the stop sign. Had a shot at home plate, but he'll take the break at third. Runners now on second and third with Macabrota's double.
Well, he came in with the fastball, tried to bust it in on him, but he couldn't get it far enough in, and Macabrota did a really good job to get a bat on it and keep it fair. That's the hard part there. Normally that ball will hook on you, but he did a real good job keeping it fair. A nice swing, and that's why he's hitting .340. So, very similar to last time they were here where they got the hot start and scored a few runs early. We're in kind of danger zone here. They'll have the corners in. You don't bring the whole infield in, at least I don't anyway, with nobody out. Otherwise, you don't want to risk having a big number here. You need to get an out before you bring everybody in.
One of the best fielders in the league, Tristan Clark, sends that one up and out to right field. Torres in settling under it. He'll make the catch. Runner tags up. And home comes Francisco Hernandez. This diving effort there to just keep the ball in the glove. Advancing to third is Macabrota. So run comes in. The Baycats now lead 3-0.
And Torreson, not really known for his arm out there, didn't have much of a chance. Not sure whether he was throwing it to the plate or third base. But he got the ball in quick to minimize the damage. Got one out. Might keep the corners in here to try and stop Macabrota from scoring on a ground ball.
Here's Clayton Keys. First pitch to Keys. Once again, very tight inside on the hands on a power threat. This is the right fielder. Keys hitting .316 on the season.
I might bring the middle infield in here. Colangelo has decided to leave him back.
That one low and in the dirt. Goes back the other way. 2 balls is the count. So runner on third. No opportunity for the double play, which means we will see Noah Hull up next. He's on deck after hitting 2 against us a week ago today. 2 home runs, that is. That one sent off to first base. DeVapel can't make the play on it once again. In comes the runner, trotting home as Nolan Macabrota on first base is Keys with a stand-up single.
Well, that was a really nice inside-out swing to sneak the ball past the first base bag. If DeVapel is back where he normally is, he makes that play, but he's in, so he didn't have as much time to react.
And the first mound visit of the day here for Colby Klepper is First start of the season hasn't gone significantly well through only 1 out, 4 runs allowed, and he's still got a base runner there on first. If you're a reliever, you're trying to work your confidence up in your first big start, this is not the way you want it to open.
Well, at this level, you have to locate your pitches, and he's just catching too much of the plate too often, and this Barrie Baycats team can really hit. And so you have to be able to make your pitches on the right occasion, and he hasn't been able to do that. Like I say, he got 3 out of the first 4 hitters to 2 strikes, didn't get any of them out.
If you can keep this inning under 25 pitches, you have a chance to go a little bit further into this game for Colby Klepper, but Noah Hall, not the guy you want to be facing here in the 7 spot. Noah Hall, he's hit relatively well in the year, 301 batting average, not too bad, 5 home runs, but remember 2 of those came in the same game a week ago today. So it's Keys on first. Here's Klepper. First one, and finally in the zone, opens it up with a strike.
The home plate umpire seems to be very comfortable calling a strike above the belt. Normally at this level, they don't go too far above the belt. I prefer hit the strike zone that he's calling.
That one chopped off to first base, but does roll foul. 0-2 is the count here. I think the big guy that's got to really get his comfort level back here is Josiah DeVapple, and a couple balls that potentially could have been within a couple different first baseman's range. He just didn't quite get a glove on. Here's the 0-2. Inside on the hands, swing and a miss. First K of the day for Colby Klepper.
See, and that's what I've been talking about. You get a guy to 2 strikes, execute a good pitch. It was a strike-to-ball slider. He throws a hard slider, and when he throws it, locates it like that, it can be really nasty. And he had it. He threw it on the black. It looked like a fastball. It broke in the last 15 feet in, and Hall had no chance whatsoever to put that in play. All he could do was foul it off, and he couldn't do that. Great pitch.
Here's the catcher, Tyler Plumpton. Still has Keys on first. Inside on the hands again, narrowly avoids catching him, and he has had a couple, Brian, to open up at-bats right on the hands of the batter.
Well, he sure seems to like to throw up and in to the right-handed batters, doesn't he?
Plumpton hitting .340 is the back catch this year, only 47 at-bats. That one well struck. Popped up over the head of Brody Black playing center field today. Gets under it to end the inning. Black ranged out for that in a way he doesn't usually have to at right field. Nice textbook catch there from the new center fielder.
Yeah, that's some good center field play there. He got to it. A lot of guys will just come in and catch that on the move, but he busted it in and got underneath the baseball, was able to slow down. Makes it a lot easier to make the catch when you're not on the dead run.
So this will flip the lineup over. The Brantford Red Sox offense will come out for the first time today to face Juan Benitez. 8:37, the first time the Brantford Red Sox will take the field here on offense. This is going to be a late game. It's going to go into the late hours. Luckily, a little bit cooler than we've seen here at Arnold Anderson. I believe 30, 32, 33-degree temperatures the last 3 home starts. Finally today, Brian, the guys will get a little bit of a break from the heat. But the nighttime game, we're going to be well into, around 11, 11:30 by the time this game's done. What are those night conditions? How can they play a role here on a team over the course of a night?
Well, to be honest with you, it gets a little cooler at night, and depending on the time of year, if it's early or late in the season, it gets pretty chilly, and then it's tough to make that adjustment. But at this time of year, I don't think the temperature is going to go much below 20 degrees, probably a very comfortable 18, 19, 20 degrees. So I really don't see it being a factor later on. The only thing that might be a factor is this is still a working man's league for a lot of the players.
Right.
And so a lot of them had to, if they're like me, had to be at work at 7 o'clock this morning. Makes for a long day.
Yeah, hopefully next week the sun isn't too much of a factor. We have a double home game Friday, Saturday night. We'll be back at Saturday at 2 o'clock there after that late night Friday start. So that could be a tough, layover for the players. But luckily for the Brantford Red Sox, you're staying in town for that one. Juan Benitez, here he is, one of the very best. And like we said earlier, Frank Garces being in front of him in the starting rotation. I don't think there is a scarier two-headed monster here in the IBL, even with the Owen Boones, Jacob Cushes of the world. Very rarely in any league can any league or any team produce 2 starting pitchers of this quality relative to the rest of the league.
Benitez is a horse. He'll end up going 7 innings, but like I said in the pregame, he'll frustrate you in the fact that you feel like you should have got him. He doesn't have huge velo. He throws hard. He's got good off-speed stuff. But like I said, he just gets tougher and tougher and tougher as you guys get in. He executes pitches at important times, which is a point I was making in the top of the inning with Klepper, who had 2 strikes on 3 different batters and couldn't get any of them out. Whereas Benitez will get that second and third, nobody out, and he'll Houdini it and just get out of the inning. Maybe giving up 1 run as opposed to giving up to the 4 spot that Klepper gave up in the top of the inning. So, again, I'm really interested to see how this batting order is going to attack the pitching with Takioka in the 3-hole. My only concern with Takioka in the 3-hole is if, say, Ortega gets in front of him, who doesn't run anywhere near as well as Takioka does, and if Takioka gets on in first and second, then you've got him. The term I like to use is landlocked. Takioka can't go anywhere until Ortega vacates the base.
Ortega's a great athlete. Takioka could probably lap him in a race around the 4 bases. Somebody in the chat just said, got to steal home tonight. And if there's anybody on the team, I'd give that nod. It is Takioka. But here's Brody Black, who faces a ball on the first pitch. Black, not only is he a center fielder, he's leading off today. Second on the team in RBIs. Pops that one right up over the head of the catcher. Ranging back for it is Tyler Plumpton. Oh, can't get the glove on it. Lost it as it came down. Gets away with that one.
Well, you don't see that a lot at this level. And make no mistake, folks, the catcher feels like a schmuck when that happens to him, but it happens at every level. It even happens at the major league level. That is a tough play. What happens is the ball goes back toward the fence, but with the spin on it, it almost stops and starts going back out to the field. It's just one of the toughest plays in baseball. Being a former catcher, I'll always make an excuse for the catchers.
Oh, swing and a miss there on the whiff. Good power there just off the outside corner for Benitez.
Well, and Brody Black, he had a bit of a slow start, but he's really hit well the last few weeks, which is part and parcel while he's been moved up to the top of the batting order.
The 1-2 pitch, strike 3, just catches the bottom of the zones as the home plate umpire, and Black will take the walk to the bench. First strikeout of the day for Benitez.
Well, that was a sharp breaking curveball that looked, by the time the catcher caught the ball, it looked like it was low, but it looked from my angle like it caught the knees on the way by. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Brody Black disagreed with the call, but he didn't make too much of a stink about it.
Oh, Benitez inside, caught the jersey. There's a hit by pitch to open up Chris Ortega's first at-bat of the day, and we talk about how close Klepper came a number of times. That ball, I think, just caught the loose part of the jersey. That was a very close one.
Left fielder number 14, Renee Takioka.
Well, Takioka's got a guy on base in front of him, and you just said it there. A guy hitting 459 on the season, the average for Ren Takioka. He's a speed threat. He's a guy that wants to get out there to steal, but now he's got Chris Ortega in front of him. An interesting back, going to be a storyline to watch tonight with the new design of the lineup. First pitch to Takioka. There's that great breaking ball again for strike 1.
Yeah, it's a good sharp breaking ball. Got really good off-speed stuff. Like I say, he won't wow you with his velo, Benitez. He's just got a lot of good off-speed stuff.
Here's the 0-1. That one does find the zone on the low side. The home plate umpire liking those low strikes today.
Ren kind of looked like he turned around and just said something along the lines of, "Is that as low as we're going tonight?" which is the proper thing to say on a low pitch.
Here's the 0-2. That one chopped off towards the shortstop spot. It'll get by the third baseman. Runners will advance. Ortega will stop at second, and Takioka will be forced to do the same. Runners now on 1 and 2.
Well, I tell you what, if you're trying to teach a young baseball player how to hit with 2 strikes, what a piece of hitting this was. Back it up on your YouTube feed and have another look at the swing that he puts on that low outside pitch. I'm not even sure it was a strike, but he is so controlled with the bat. He was able just to shoot it through the hole on the left side. What a beautiful piece of hitting there.
When you warm up, you see the way Takioka approaches his swings and his swing warm up. It's with power but poise. He's not power aiming for extra bases. It's power aiming to just get the ball so quickly. Once he finds that attack angle he wants to swing at, the bat gets there in a hurry. That's how he got that one. And here's Cassidy Watt, second on the team in RBIs, and he has been exceptional here in earning double base opportunities here later in the season. 1-0, now 1-1. He's got 2 base runners in front of him, and Watt's got some pop. He's got some home run power, 3 on the season, 20 RBIs, 19 strikeouts to 9 walks.
And this is a very interesting at bat early because it's giving up 4 in the top half. It's important to get one back, but as I said earlier, Benitez just gets tougher with runners on.
That ball too far and too low. 2-1 now the count. Benitez to Watt. Fans getting loud here at Arnold Anderson. They got 2 base runners. Could reel this lead back in the very first inning. That one popped up and over our heads. Tyler Plimpton will have no chance at that one.
Well, that's a shame there. Yeah, I could see Cassidy shaking his head there. He got a pitch to hit, and unfortunately he popped it out of play. He put a good hack on it, but just fouled it off, unfortunately. That's one that he would have liked to shoot to the gap.
With Benitez, you got to wonder how many you're going to get like that today. Not many
Exactly.
middles from this guy.
Great point.
So here's the 2-2. Strike 3, says the home plate umpire. Benitez rings up a second batter in the first inning. And here's Bateman. He's got the call at DH today. He's been really everywhere defensively the last couple weeks. We knew him as a second baseman most of the start of the year. Then he got a start at catcher last week. He's had some flexibility, but today he'll be the designated hitter, and he's a threat. And once he gets on base, he's got some stolen base upside as well.
Well, that's the second Brantford hitter of the inning that has gone back to the dugout after a low pitch called strike 3. That's another good curveball. Certainly nothing wrong with Benitez's curveball tonight, that's for sure.
He got a strike 1 that time. 0-1 to Bateman.
Big at bat early in the game.
Oh, almost a hittable pitch there, but had some horizontal break at the end. That's strike 2. Going to take a quick moment here. Bateman calls time. Going to reset his hand placement on the bat. 0-2, 2 outs. Could end the top or the bottom of the first.
Probably a high fastball here.
Right you are. Didn't get the call though. 1-2.
And then back to the curveball that Bateman is having some difficulty with.
So Takioka on first, Ortega on second. The 1-2 to Bateman. That one chopped over the head of the pitcher. Will that one get by second? Steps on first, but the runner will be out as the third out of the inning is recorded. That'll end the bottom of the first in an inning that the big guys did their job. Ortega gets on base with the hit by pitch. Takioka has that big single that, had it just been him on base, maybe could have been legged out into a double, but that's where the offense will end. 2 strikeouts and then the ground out there to Bateman.
Well, and that just goes to the point that I was making pre-game, and the fact is you can get runners on this guy, but it is hard to score on him. He may have gotten a call on the Watt at bat, but he made a good pitch to Bateman. That curveball, Bateman struggled with it. He did well to get the ball in play, but easy play for the second baseman. All he had to do was catch the ball and step right on second base. So it's going to be important. Hopefully some adjustments get made for Klepper this half inning. I believe it's going to be odd than the top of the order, or is it the top of the order up right away? Either way, he's going to face the guys a second time, and we'll have to see if he's made some adjustments that he can get out of this inning unscathed. Because, the good news, the bad news, obviously he gave up 4. The good news is it's still only the first inning. And I think we've got some throwing going on in the bullpen already. So I think he'll have a pretty short leash this inning if I make my guess correctly here.
If my eyes don't deceive me, I believe it's Pedro De Los Santos warming up there in the bullpen. So we're going for the big budget, the big money starter or big money relievers here today. Some of the very best in the IBL in those middle relief spots are going to be kind of our bullpen game setup for today. The only other one I would mention in that conversation is De La Cruz, and of course Armitage was a very good reliever to start the year, has since become an IBL All-Star level starter. So we're going to see some good arms today, just not the starting pitcher you'd often expect in such a high leverage matchup against a team like Barrie.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like I say, I like De Santos coming in next. He can give them at least 2 innings. Hold them at 4 for a couple innings and give the offense a chance to start chipping away at this lead. The one thing we know that the Red Sox can do, they were down 6-0 against Hamilton, brought it all the way back to 6-3 or 6-4, got themselves right back into the game, ended up scoring 6 runs, which isn't a bad number.
Nope.
At the end of the day, though, when you're giving up 8 or 9 runs a game, it's time to limit this team to 4 runs and get out of the next. They just need to get through the next couple of innings unscathed, and it starts with getting the lead. The first guy before they turn the order over back to the top.
Here's the final man in the lineup for Barrie, Adam Odd. Odd swings and misses at that one. Going to go to an even 1-1 count after the first pitch was a fastball for a ball up high and wide.
So an important at bat already for Klepper. He's got to get this batter so that, like I say, when we get back to the top of the order, there's one out and nobody on. This guy gets on, then we're running into some more trouble.
Here's the 1-1. That one chopped over the head of the third baseman, Ortega, all the way back out to Takioka, who ranges out to it well. Quick throw back in, and an incredible fielding job by Takioka to hold him at first, although the throw then gets by the second baseman. But exceptional throw back in there from Takioka to hold him at first.
Well, not only can he hit .459, he's also a really, really good defender as well, and did a great job not only to cut that ball off before it got to the wall, because Odd runs pretty well, but got it back in and held him to a single. Super job there.
Center fielder number 95, Barrie Baycats.
You can never underrate just how much those little fielding moments make a difference. Just holding the guy off of one base. When so many Red Sox games come down to one-run contest, those moments can be what settles it. Here's McGarry Doyle up for the second time today. He sends that one straight at the shortstop, but off the glove. Jacob Cantor making his debut today at the shortstop position. Bounces over to Takioka, who will be the one to throw it back in again. His first play as a Red Sox shortstop. Bounces off the glove for a single.
Well, I'll tell you what happened there. I guarantee you that he saw the same thing I saw, and Odd got off the base. He started running because he thought that was a base hit, and that was an easy double play. And so he was already making the throw to first base before he caught the baseball. That's bad luck there. We got to make sure they make that play, and so that does not help matters. I thought it was a very, very makeable double play if he catches that ball, but he just kind of short-armed it, trying to get the throw away quick.
Here's Brandon Hernandez. That one chopped foul right down off the plate, and Hernandez opened today up with a home run. He now looks at 2 batters in front of him. 2 RBIs on the day today for Hernandez.
Yeah, and suddenly you go from a double play to yikes. You know what I mean? If he barrels up another one, this one can start getting away on you early.
Here's the 0-1. This is Klepper to Brandon Hernandez.
Nice pitch there.
Great pitch just inside the bottom of the zone. Now 0-2, chance for his second K of the day.
So I'd like to see the same pitch that he threw to Noah Hull last inning. I'd like to see that hard slider in the inside of the plate.
Wasn't the slider, but did get the swing and a miss. Second strikeout of the day to Brandon Hernandez.
Well, he got him to chase there. That was that's when you thank the hitter for chasing after one in the dirt. I thought I heard 2 noises there, to be honest with you. I'm glad he got his glove underneath that because it sure sounded like it went in the dirt before he caught it. So now you're a ground ball away from getting out of this inning on what could have been a dangerous situation for him. I don't think they want to get McAbrota. It sure would be nice if he could get a ground ball here. So a slider on the outside maybe. We'll check that.
First one in for a ball. Hernandez walked in his last AB. He'll have to make sure Klepper challenges him with strikes this time.
He did. It's a strike.
All right, they'll redesignate it, flip it around. He gets up in a pitcher's count here early.
Sorry, sometimes I just kind of, my little baseball voice comes out. I almost yelled down to the catcher to get him to check it.
Here's the 0-1. That one too wide. Ball 1.
It's a good idea there. He went further out with the slider. Let's see how far he'll go to chase. So that live, I'm not sure if it's a 2-seamer or just a live fastball, but the one he's been running in on the hands of the right-handed batter, probably a good time to come in with that. Back to the slider.
Back to the slider.
I don't think he went that
low.
time.
2-1 now the count to Francisco Hernandez. Still got Odd on second, McGarry Doyle on first.
I like the fastball in to try and get soft contact, see if you can get him to hit a ground ball for you here.
That one chopped foul. 2-2. Struck out the last Hernandez. We'll see if he can go back-to-back. Francisco finds himself down 2-2.
Yeah, same thing here. Run that fastball in on his hands.
Klepper up to 35 pitches today. The pitch.
Back to the slider. Ooh.
There it is. Didn't fool him, and the home plate umpire didn't give him that one. Full count.
He wanted that one.
and so do the fans here at Arnold Anderson, but full count, 1 out. It's a big pitch here for Klepper if he wants to stay in this ballgame.
To be clear, I can't see the inside of the plate, so I don't want anybody to think that I am arguing with the call of the umpire.
And that one is low and wide. Ball 4, bases loaded. Klepper's second consecutive walk to Francisco Hernandez.
He really wanted a call there. He didn't get one on the inside, nor did he get one on the outside.
IBL All-Star ball boy. There's Emmett Cooper.
First baseman number 20, Nolan Macabrota.
So we're right back in that red zone now. We need to make a good pitch, try and get a ground ball.
Macabrota's got 24 RBIs on the year, tied for the team lead, and he's got a chance to bump that total a fair ways with the bases loaded.
They've got Devapalena in on the corner.
First ball just a little bit too wide. Ball 1, and
Macabrota not a great runner. I maybe have, considering Devapalena's range, I might have him in behind the runner, give him an opportunity to throw the ball to second and get the 3-6-3 double play.
that one chopped. Foul off the left field line. Look close to coming back, but that'll be 1-1. Bases loaded. Tristan Clark on deck should his services be needed here. Only 1 out in the inning.
Might be a good time for that hard slider he likes to throw into the lefties.
That one well wide off the plate. Looked like it got loose out of the hand. Ball 2.
Yeah, just a little quick there. Got the arm, fell behind, and that's generally what happens when your arm lags behind and you miss arm side.
We've already reached the point here, Brian. It's rare that Klepper will pitch this far into a game. 40 pitches now. I believe the first time this year he's gone that deep into a game. That one's low as well. Ball 3, 3-1 count.
He just can't get a call from the home plate umpire here. I'm not saying they're strikes or balls, but he's certainly not getting any favors, that's for sure. Now we've got a situation. You got a 3-1 count, bases loaded, the 4-hitter up. Got to make a best pitch of the night right here.
That one on the hands. It's going to go for a strike, and I think that one was lucky there. That ball was well inside.
You're right. Yeah, that was ball 4. He did him a favor there.
It was a late swing, too. He didn't seem like he decided until halfway to the plate.
Well, and that's why I like that inside slider to bust in, because it's been real effective on lefties. So, I don't know. Maybe go right back to it, I guess.
Full count, big pitch here.
Going out.
Inside. There we go. Gets a call. That's what Colby Klepper likes to see. Third strikeout on the day. Didn't get a call for a while, but when he did,
that's
it was
a huge
big one.
call there. You know, ball 4, 5-0, or strike 3 and 2 out. And with 2 out and nobody on, to 2 out and bases loaded. Excuse me, nobody out and 2 on, and 2 out and bases loaded. Getting this guy out is huge for the future of tonight's game.
Here's an all-star, Tristan Clark, who's been so exceptional this year in the outfield, on offense and on defense. Had a sac fly RBI in the first inning. Can't do that with 2 outs.
Smart call by Cassidy Watt there, remembering that he swung at the first pitch, an outside slider in his first at-bat that got them up 0-1. A nice take by Clark to lay off that.
Here's the 1-0. That one chopped off towards the third base line. It's going to roll foul, but Chris Ortega there, keeping his legs moving. Count now at 45 pitches through 2 innings for Colby Klepper. These Red Sox poor starters, they are not having short opening innings here in these last couple ball games. I believe this will be the 3rd time that a pitcher is up over 45 pitches through 2 innings in 3 consecutive home games. Here's the 1-1 to Clark. That one chopped foul, just barely catches the netting. 1-2 could be a chance at the 4th strikeout for Klepper in his first 2 innings.
Back to the slider there. I think that's going to be the out pitch. You got 2 choices here. I'm not sure I go right back to the slider. I might bust that fastball up and in on him. And then if that doesn't get him out, then go back to the slider on 2-2.
1-2, 2 outs. This could end the inning.
Come back inside here. Probably going to be hard. Yep.
That ball popped up and over the head of the infield. Out to field, it's Devapalena. gets underneath it to make the catch, and that will end the top of the second inning, and that one could have been bad, Brian.
Well, that's a Houdini act right there, and we love those. You know, that's taking a page out of the Juan Benitez book right there, where you get a bunch of base runners on first and second, nobody out, already down 4. You get an out, walk a batter, get the next 2 guys out. That's a great job by Klepper. Super job.
So Klepper's been racking up the strikeouts, and that's very similar to what we saw from Aiden Armitage in his start the other day, where the run prevention just wasn't working for him. He didn't pitch very deep into the game, but he racked up 6 strikeouts through 3 innings. We're already seeing it from Klepper. I think part of the problem for these starting pitchers is they go out with the mentality that if I'm taking runners out, I really got to earn them with strikeouts, because we've seen already a couple little fielding mistakes. The infield defense, as we've shifted the defensive rotations around, has been a little bit more questionable than it was at the start of the year. Does that put pressure on pitchers to say, if I'm taking batters out of this ball game, I got to do it myself more than my fielding team?
They don't usually, but they can. You know what I mean? Just the short answer is sometimes, I guess. You really have to fight through that and just execute your pitch. If you're thinking about that, you're not thinking about executing your next pitch. And so does it happen? Yeah, it happens. It happened to me last night in our game at home, where I got a pitcher who, we made an error and we dropped a fly ball, and he come off going, I got to strike do I have to strike everybody out just to get out of the inning? At the end of the day, that's not really part of pitching. The toughest part of pitching is the ability to forget everything that happened before the pitch you're going to throw next.
Got to be a
next
goldfish.
pitch.
Yep.
Next pitch is all you really want to worry about. And as I have joked many, many times and did so at this level, the last thing you want your pitchers doing is thinking.
You just want them pitching. Don't want them throwing. You want them pitching.
Just want them pitching. Don't think, don't throw. I believe there's a movie, came out a few years ago, called Bull Durham, and really the theory of that was don't think, just throw. I think Kevin Costner's line was, don't think, it can only hurt the ball club. I love to give pitchers a hard time, I really do, but God bless them. They make the game worth watching.
Jacob Cantor, welcome to the lineup. Welcome to the hitting column. His first hit as a Brantford Red Sox starting lineup guy. Shortstop today, and he's got a single in his very first pitch he sees.
Well, I hope he went over to the dugout and gave Kepler a tap, because that line drive that he botched up there and Kepler got out of it anyways, that could have been a very short inning, frankly, if he makes that play. So he atones for it by seeing one pitch. Fastball that got up in the middle of the plate and roped it over the shortstop. So away we go here. Like I say, they got runners on in the first inning, but this is what you get with Benitez. You're going to get runners on. The key here is get the at-bat that drives them in.
Strike one in on Matt Torzen, starting today at right field. He's hitting 7th in the lineup today, and for at least 2 more at-bats, Jacob Cantor will lead the team in batting average. That one low, but they'll give it to him. And
he's really getting that curveball down at the hollow of the knees, isn't he? Torsen's a big dude. He stands about 6'2", I think.
Going to have to reach low to find those curveballs. That one fouled off towards the parking lot. Still 0-2. DeVaplin will be the man up in the batter's circle. Remember Jacob Cantor, first career hit for the Red Sox. He's on first base. That one in on the hands, but he'll swing at it. First ball in for the double play. Second ball in for the double play. And they're both there in time. That's 2 outs for the Barrie Baycats.
That is what you call a tailor-made double play. A 3-hopper to the second baseman. Good mechanics by, I believe it's Odd at second base. Get those feet pointed in the direction of second base. A good snap throw, good turn at short. You've got about 4 seconds as a rule to turn a double play from impact to getting the ball to first base. And that was a clinic on how to turn a 4-6-3 double play.
Well, Tammy Bedford out there in the YouTube chat called that one. Saw it out of the corner of my eye. Double play. A couple seconds later, there it was. So here's Josiah DeVaplin. First time up today. 1-0 against Benitez. Benitez, that one in. The strike for 1-1.
Well, we haven't seen DeVaplin much. We saw him play on Sunday as the DH, if memory serves me.
Only 15 at-bats this year, hitting 133. That one popped up over the head of the first baseman and catcher. Macabrota calls for it, and he does make the catch. That's the 3rd out of the inning and a very quick bottom of the second.
And once again, the first guy gets on base and Benitez gets out of it. That's just kind of what he does. This is not a recording, folks. That's just what he does. And so I'm not going to lie. I'm a little surprised Kepler coming out for the third inning, even though he's had about 50 pitches. But, hey, he was real good. Like I say, after the first and second and nobody out, got a couple strikeouts.
Yeah, that bullpen arm out there. Again, I believe that is De Los Santos still out there. He'll remain warming up here for this this half inning. As yet, Klepper's back, still working with Watt there. As Cassidy Watt back behind the dish today for the Red Sox.
Well, I'm sure there's nothing.
Let's take a look here very quickly around the IBL. Just going to check the two other scores. And would you believe it, Brian? Bottom of the fifth inning, the Kitchener Panthers lead Welland on the road, 6-2.
Wow. Yeah, that's. I can only assume Martinez is throwing, because I remember Martinez did really well in Welland.
It's Vargas out there who's
is it? Okay.
Started the game.
Oops.
Whoa, way inside. Gets him in the feet. Ball 4, Klepper's third walk of the day, this time to Noah Hull.
Well, get your money's worth, I suppose, if you're going to miss the zone. But, yeah, he just spiked that one. Gripped a little bit too tight. Here's the good news is you got the catcher on deck. And, boy, he's a throwback, isn't he? No batting gloves, Plumpton. Old school.
Looks like he just came from work. Shout out to our director, Ryan, getting our video back up and working.
Got a good double play candidate here. See if you can get him to roll over on something.
First one in. That one chopped off towards the second base spot for 1. For 2. Lefebvre right over to Devaplin, and there you go. Finally, the double play goes the way of the Red Sox.
So the Barrie fan called the double play. I guess we're even now, right?
Noisy road crowds the last couple weeks here in Brantford. Not only do the fans travel well, but they travel with some effort. And
well, I say they're all in their uniform there, so I'm guessing they are in town for a game maybe or somewhere close. No idea, but sure are a lot of Barrie fans here, that's for sure. Nice crowd.
All righty, so here's the bottom of the third. Juan Bonita is back up quickly, the quickest he's returned from the bench today. The first 2 innings went a fair length for the Barrie Baycats, but now the Red Sox, they've stopped the bleeding. They've got the momentum back their way. And as we flip over the lineup card, Lucas Lefebvre will lead us in back to the top of the order where the real, what do you want to call it, murderer's row of hitters. Black, Ortega, Takioka should hopefully make a splash this inning.
That's what we call the meat of the order. Black, Ortega, Takioka, even Watt and Bateman. Like I say, it's actually it's a good lineup, but it's a big hole without Paulus, isn't it? I mean, you don't really notice that.
Yeah.
I've often said that the only downside to the top of the Red Sox order is that they're both lefties, Takioka and Paulus. And so, at this level, you've got situational left-handed relievers out there, which make you susceptible. So, to be honest with you, I could see a Takioka, Ortega, Paulus top 3. Maybe.
Here's the question. Just taking a look at the lineup here. I know.
Sure.
Let's say he comes back for next game. Let's say Paulus is only out for tonight. What would your dream? You can do all 9 if you want, but 1 to 5. Where would you order our lineup?
Well, I'm looking for a number 2 hitter. Now, don't misunderstand me. I like Paulus as a number 2. I just don't like throwing 2 lefties back to back.
Agreed.
Because you leave yourself susceptible to a lefty coming out of the pen late inning. You also leave yourself wide open. What few lefty starters there are in this league.
Right.
Which makes it, because, let's face it, those guys are the straw. They're the ones that stir the drink. And so at the end of the day, I'm looking for a number 2 hitter. You're never gonna bring me off a Takioka in the 1 hole because he's their best base runner. Ortega's a big RBI guy. Ordinarily, I would go Takioka, Paulus, Ortega, but because the 2 lefties, I'm looking for a 2-hole hitter that's going to hit to a high average. I don't need a lot of power out of him.
Right.
A guy who doesn't strike out much, a guy who's good with the bat, guy that's going to put the ball in play. To be honest with you, a Lucas Bateman could do that job because he's a good base runner as well. Then you bring in Paulus in the 3-hole.
Well hit ball by Lefebvre. That out to center field.
Really
Gary
well
Doyle ranging back. Just barely brings it in. What a catch by Noel McGarry Doyle.
I hope we got that one on film. That was a basket catch there. What a really nice play.
Lucas Lefebvre has been needing that big swing at home. He almost had it there. That ball was a couple steps from the outfield center field fence.
Well, if he sends that 30 feet one way or the other, it probably does go out of here, to be honest with you. He sent it to the deepest part of the park.
Back up to the top of the lineup. Brody Black looks at a strike for pitch 1.
The way he's been hitting recently, Brody Black could be the number 2-hole hitter in this order, too. It would be Takioka, then Black, then Paulus, then Ortega. Then you've got 1 through 4, and that's a really, really solid 1 through 4. You got Cassidy Watt then who can bat in the 5-hole and provide that old school number 5 power hitter. Won't necessarily have a big, Joe Carter type of player. Doesn't have a high average, but he's really good at bringing runs in. And then, there's other fellows in there. Savage is another guy.
Yep.
If he ever comes back, so like there's lots of talent there, and you could. It's part of the.
Well hit ball there by Brody Black. Comes down in the right field line in the warning track. Rounding to second. Should get the stop at second base. The ball rolls into second, and Brody Black's got a stand-up double to open up his hitting for the day.
Well, I thought Keys was going to make a play on that. That ball really, really carried out there.
Looked like a little bit slow there on the jump, but yeah, that ball just kept carrying right, which with very little wind here today was likely as big a surprise to him as it was to us.
Well, and keep in mind, too, this is the toughest time of the day to catch, to really get a read on balls. Dusk is the hardest time of the day to get a read on balls. So what you want there is that you just got to get a jump and hope you get there in time, but that ball was really stung. That's 2 in a row that have been really wrapped hard, and so here we go again with runners in scoring position on Benitez. We'll see if we can bring one in.
Ortega just barely gets the bat on that one.
So now the challenge there is on Benitez because you've got who is, probably their best RBI guy up at the plate right now, and then you've got their top hitter on deck. So pick your poison here, a righty and a lefty.
So Brody Black on second. That ball low for Ortega. He'll see an even 1-1 pitch this next time.
Nice take on what looked to be a changeup there.
Ortega was hit by a pitch in the first inning. That's all he's recorded today so far. Takioka on deck. Oh, just barely misses it with the bat. We've heard the sound of the ball off the bat twice, but neither have gone forward.
Well, he got him to swing at a pitch outside the zone there. I thought pretty aggressive. That's not Ortega's strength. Ortega's strength is middle in. That ball was at best on the edge of the plate outside.
Tammy on YouTube's calling for a double play again. We'll see if she's right once again, as Ortega's going to take time.
It'd be a bit of a challenge getting a double play without a force play on, but, a line drive to the shortstop, possibly.
Well, Tammy hasn't proved us wrong yet. Runner goes. The 1-2, the hit and run. Will that ball come down? No, it won't. McGarry Doyle ranges out for that in center field, and that's the power of a good defensive outfield.
Well, I tell you what, Tammy almost got that double play.
I
thought this was going to be a challenge. I thought, well, just at the last minute I was thinking, well, a fly ball and then throw him out on the advance, but
might have to have Tammy as the next guest on Red Sox Report. She's just got an eye for these things.
I need Tammy to start putting up on the YouTube feed exactly which the lottery numbers are going to be for tonight's draw, to be honest. So an absolutely huge at bat here, and taking risks is
Takioka
Noah Hull at third base. I understand not wanting to give up the bunt, but frankly, I'd rather give up the bunt and keep the runner at third base because if the ball gets slapped past you, that runner's likely to score.
Brody Black tried the hit and run last time. I want it up high again, inside up on the elbow, which for Takioka, shorter player, isn't too high, but it's high enough that Benitez is down 1-2.
Tell you what, Black got a great jump on that pitch, too. It's a shame it wasn't a ball because he had that base stolen easy. And then that fly ball is suddenly a sac fly, and it's 4-1. So a nice break there for Barrie.
Here's the 2-0 from Benitez. Finally finds the zone right down Main Street, 2-1. So we got Watt up on deck, should he be needed. 2 outs in the inning, 2-1 to Takioka. Black on second. That one popped foul within playable range. Can Hull get to it? Yes, he can. And that'll retire the side here at the bottom of the third. 4-0 the lead for the Barrie Baycats as the Red Sox strand Brody Black out on second. We'll take you to a commercial if we can. We'll take a look at our Rawlings and All-Star promos. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hardline drive up the middle. Whoa! Lindor out of nowhere. How did he do that?
That Lindor can play. I don't know about that hair. And don't get me started on those gloves.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
It's time for a revolution. The Ref 1X by Rawlings.
Get ready, Hamilton. It's the 2025 IBL Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. Hosted by the Hamilton Cardinals at beautiful Bernie Arbor Stadium. Watch the league's top sluggers crush moonshots in the Derby. Then see the best of the best go head-to-head under the lights in the All-Star Game. Grab your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com. Because this summer, the stars shine brightest in Hamilton.
And welcome back to Arnold Anderson Stadium here in Brantford, Ontario. You just saw the promo for the upcoming All-Star game this Sunday night in Hamilton at Barrie Arbor. Still tickets left. I will be there in person, so feel free to come meet yours truly. Myself and a couple other representatives from the Red Sox will be checking out all the action there. We'll be supporting our three players, 4 representatives. Of course, Chris Ortega will get the start there, our only starter in the lineup there. He'll be starting at first base. Then we got Armitage and Takioka on site there. And I think Takioka, had he had a little bit more of a sample size and had the voting been done 2 weeks later, Takioka would probably be starting in that game with how well he's played. He's only a reserve for that game, though, and it's going to be our very own Emmett Cooper will be the ball boy there for the All-Star game in Hamilton. So check that out. Tickets still on sale. That one's going to be towards the evening. I believe the home run contest starts at 5:30-ish. And then I believe the All-Star game itself will start sometime around 7. So that's Sunday night. You still got plenty of time to take the kids to school. Go check it out. Shouldn't be too long of a drive here from Brantford. It's a great experience for fans all over the IBL. And I will be there. So feel free to come look for the tall guy with the bad hair wearing likely a maroon dress shirt. Come check it out. Come say hi. And I'd love to talk to everybody from the Red Sox community should there be interest. Getting ready here for the top of the 4th inning. A new pitcher, Pedro De Los Santos, coming out today. And he's a guy we haven't seen here in a little bit. I believe you may have saw him in your very first game of the season, Brian. But he's been off for a little bit. He's going to need to do some real meaningful, meaty innings here. If he can get to the 6th or 7th, it'd be doing the team a huge favor. Yeah,
they certainly need 2 innings at least out of him. 3 would be better. But, attack the zone here. It's a good time to bring him in with 2 or 3 lefties coming up at the bottom half of the order.
First pitch in for a strike. This is Adam Odd up for the second time today. Singled back in the 2nd inning.
The numbers aren't jump off the page, but he's a good, solid reliever. He's been around the league, pitched for 2 or 3 different teams. I think he's pitched for Guelph and Kitchener. He's got a really good left-handed curveball, that one that drives you nuts if you're a left-handed hitter. He can throw it right at you and bend it in for a strike, so you have to kind of stand in there. So when he throws the fastball in, it really is nerve-wracking because you're hanging in there expecting it to break, and then when it doesn't, it's too late.
The 0-2. That one chopped foul. Just barely bounces wide of the line. This will stay an 0-2 count. Good start to the effort here for De Los Santos. Odd only got to face Klepper 1 time, and then the order will reset back up to the top of the offensive lineup. They'll see number 35 for the first time. This may actually be the first time I can remember that De Los Santos will have pitched against Barrie this season. The 0-2, that one's sent off towards second base. Lefebvre gets a glove on it, misplay. Rushes the throw. Did get there in time, but that one was a little touch and go there.
Well, that took a big bounce off the lip there, which is still pretty firm. We got a little bit of rain recently, but the infield is still pretty firm. They got some water on the infield during the sun delay, but still the lip needs to be rolled a little bit. That's generally the most dangerous part of any infield, is right on that inside lip, and you're liable to get big hops off of that when it goes right on the edge of the dirt. Nice pitch, though, to get him to roll over on a ground ball.
McGarry Doyle sends that one out to left field. Takioka ranging back for it. Gets there in time. He had to reset his positioning. Was going the wrong way. Got back the right way and makes the catch.
Well, that ball tailed on him there. He thought he had a beat on it, and then it really started to go to his right. And so he almost got turned around there. We anticipate every ball hit to him he's going to make a play on. But that's a 1 pitch, 1 out. So that's good economical work through 2 outs thus far for De Los Santos.
Takioka, McGarry Doyle trading nice catches in the outfield there. First one in for a ball here. This is Brendan Hernandez. Opened the game up with a 2-run shot in the first inning, then struck out in the second. Here's the 1-0. That one chopped over the head of De Los Santos. Lefebvre should get a glove on it. Once again, the bounce off the glove. That one is going to cost him. First error of the day for the Red Sox defense. I know it's easy to get the yips there after that first mistake. You get it back in time for the throw to DeVapel, and that one's going to eat away at you.
Well, speed kills, and he saw that it was a good base runner there, and he had to charge that ball and go up the middle with it, so he knew he only had a moment to catch the ball and transfer it. Unfortunately, though, he clanked it, so as we often yell to infielders, soft hands, boys, soft hands.
First ball in there for a strike, and this is Francisco Hernandez, who Colby Klepper chalked up 2 walks against in his effort today. Really had the handle of him. Let's see what we can do against De Los Santos. That one just a little bit too low and wide. Ball 1.
And the first righty that De Los Santos has had to face in this inning.
So 1-1. Brandon Hernandez on first. That one well inside. Luckily doesn't hit him. 2-1.
Thing here with another lefty on deck in Macabrota. You want to be real careful how you pitch Hernandez.
2 outs. Could end the inning here. De Los Santos gets one in the top corner. I don't think we've seen a single pitch there yet from De Los Santos. Certainly not for a strike. 2-2-2 reads the scoreboard.
Well, he's got that nice slider. I'd maybe try a backdoor pitch here. See if they go outside or not.
Take a long wind up here.
No.
Kicks and deals. That one shot back foul. Catches the fence. This will remain a 2-2 count. Like I said, Macabrota on deck should he be needed. He'll be excited if he sees base runners in front of him.
If he can bury a back foot slider here, that should get a strikeout.
The number to beat, Mark Perry said, was under 15 pitches in an inning for a pitcher. 12 right now for De Los Santos. And the 13th is a strikeout to end it. Nice top of the 4th inning. Pedro De Los Santos comes in. And it's very rare you see a starting level performance open the game in the 4th, but I think after Colby Klepper took three innings off the board, held Barrie to only 4 runs, which seemed like it was touch and go when they picked the offense up in the 3rd. I think if Pedro De Los Santos can pitch like that through the middle of this game, I think Barrie's night is only about to get more difficult.
Well, as I mentioned earlier on, when I saw Dos Santos up there, I really hoped that they would bring him in. I liked him as a choice to give you 2, maybe 3 innings and hold Barrie at 4-0. When it looked like this game might get away on you, we were 4-0 in the first, and then you had runners on first and second and nobody out in the 2nd inning. So good job by Klepper to get through the 2nd and the 3rd. And frankly, De Los Santos looks fantastic. Not for the error. It's about a 9-pitch inning.
You got to think as a batter facing one of these 2 pitchers, we often have a situation where, especially with some of our relievers, their efforts open with trying to find the zone, trying to get a comfortability with even not just their fastball, but any of their off-speed pitches, trying to work up their confidence that they think they can hit the zone with stuff with more movement. But the batter doesn't believe it yet. You're trying to convince the batter, all right, I can challenge you, but no matter what I throw, has a chance at the zone. But once you as a batter, these guys just can't find it. Let them get in their rhythm. Wait until they can hit the zone while they just keep walking me. Pedro De Los Santos comes right out. He always challenges. He throws good off speed, and he makes the batter know right away, all right, I can't give this guy a free pitch. I got to be really trying at everything.
Well, the other nice thing, too, most of the meat of the Barrie Baycat order are lefties, and so having any left-handed reliever that you have on your roster is worth his weight in gold. And so you don't mind lefty on righty when you're dealing with the bottom of the order. The bottom of the Baycat order is good, but not, they're at the bottom for a reason. And so when you attack the top of the order with lefties, then you attack the bottom of the order with good quality strikes. And next thing you know, you get 3 innings, once around the order plus the lefties again. So in a perfect world, De Los Santos probably faces 12 hitters until Macabrota faces him twice, and then you probably see a righty after that.
Here's the righty, Cassidy Watt. That first one a little bit too high up towards the face. Ball 1. Juan Benitez still on the mound. 49 pitches in now. Swing and a miss there for Cassidy Watt. That one gets past the bat wide. 1-1.
Well, he really got fooled on that pitch there. I hope he didn't hurt himself, to be honest with you. It looked like he strained his shoulder on that swing.
He's been in discomfort a number of times this season behind the plate on defense. First time we've seen discomfort for him at the plate. 1-1, well struck, but doesn't do it forward. That ball off towards the parking lot. Strike 2.
You got to think Benitez is probably going to go back outside with a curveball here, or at least Plumpton will want that anyways, the way he made him look on the last one.
The 1-2. That one well struck there by Watt, but a little bit high.
Benitez got lucky there. He hung that, and Watt just missed it.
And Tristan Clark will clean up the pieces as the first out of the inning is Cassidy Watt on the flyout.
Plumpton want that pitch the same spot as the second strike swing, just outside of the zone, and he brought it right on the inside half. And that's, like I say, that's a shame because Watt sure could have barreled that one up.
So here's Lucas Bateman, and he'll be followed up by Jacob Kanzor, who opened up his Red Sox tenure in that second inning with his first career single here for the Brantford Red Sox. We'll see what he does in his second go-around. First up, it's Bateman. Bateman strikes that one to about the same spot once again. Oh, Hernandez trips going for the ball. Luckily, he's got Tristan Clark again to back him up, but Hernandez just looked like he'd lost a skate edge there, running in cleats. Well, Juan Benitez trying to speed run this inning. That's 2 quick flyouts, and here's Jacob Kantor.
Yeah, 49 pitches going into the inning. I think he's only thrown
53.
4, yeah.
So Jacob Kantor.
I thought maybe Bateman might have bunted there, the third baseman back so far.
His second pitch is a Brantford Red Sox, goes wide for strike one, just catches the outside of the plate. Matt Torzen on deck should he be needed. Kantor strikes that one well through the gap between shortstop and third base. Jacob Kantor, welcome to the Red Sox. 2 for 2 with 2 singles.
Well, look at that. Hey, he got a good pitch to hit there, and he didn't make a mistake with it. So he runs pretty well, too. We spoke today on the Red Sox report about Brian's 5 observations about the rest of the season. One of them, number 4, if memory serves, was to push the envelope a little bit. I'd like to see them put something on here, either a straight steal, maybe a hit and run, something like that.
Would be Kantor's first career for the Red Sox. That one a little bit too low for Benitez. Ball 1 to Matt Torzen. And Torzen grounded into a double play back there in the second inning. See what he does here with Kantor on first. That one up high on the hands for ball 2.
When you think back to his last at bat, he hit a ground ball right to Odd at second base. If the runner is going, Odd is covering second base, and that is a perfectly executed hit and run, and it's first and third with nobody out. But on the other hand, you stand there and watch 3 straight balls go by, and that's just as helpful as a hit and run.
Well, here's the 3-0. Could be his first walk of the day. Right down Main Street there. Benitez will get it back to a 3-1. (3-1), 2 outs. Kantor on first. That one struck well to the second baseman. Gloves it perfectly for 1, and that's all he needs. Grounds it out again. Jacob Kantor, though. That's how you start your ball game. You talk about a guy coming out here in his debut. A lot of relievers this year have made impact right out the gate in their first start. Jacob Kantor has already tied Josiah DeVaplin in career hits for the Brantford Red Sox. He's done it in 2 at-bats.
Yeah, and looks good doing it, too. And, that's another situation where if Kantor is running, Odd is moving toward the bag and has a little bit more of a challenge. But what a great play by Adam Odd on the diving stop there. Beautiful play. And fortunately for him, he didn't have to stand up and throw it back to first base. He just got to lob it over to Hernandez, standing on second base for an easy force out and 3 out. So the Red Sox, through 4 innings, have had base runners in every single inning and unable to score. They've got, I think, 4 hits. Our scoreboard says 3, but I feel like they have 4. And also the error made. So at the, you've got a situation where it's the same thing, and it sounds like a broken record, to be honest with you, but Benitez gives up base runners every inning, and you really feel like we're letting him off the hook, but he just makes really good pitches when he needs to get out of innings. He's as good as anybody I've seen in this league at making pitches to get out of innings. I said off air, it might be the most frustrating pitcher you ever watched if he's pitching against your team, because you're challenging for runs every single inning. And you look at the score sheet at the end and go, geez, we got 8, 9 hits. We got no runs. How the heck did that happen?
Well, here's a stat for you. Looking at my score sheet, groundouts and flyouts combined, so essentially pitching to either weak contact in the infield or a ball that the fielders can get to. Combined as a team, Barrie, 3 groundouts and flyouts today through 4 innings. Brantford, 9. So that is the difference between 2 pitchers. Both of our pitching staffs through 4 innings have done well at strikeouts. Particularly Brantford's actually been a little more capable than Barrie, but it's just limiting good hits that, you know, a lot of other teams, a lot of the elite teams are able to do at a higher level than us.
Well, and strikeouts are boring. They're also fascist, I hear. So getting that soft, getting that soft contact does 2 things. Number one, it keeps your defense on the toes because you put the ball in play a lot more, and it gets you to deeper in. And what have we been talking about? Starters going deeper into games, pitch to contact. That's an old Roy Halladay theory, man. I mean, the old Doc Halladay, the late great, won a Cy Young, never led the league in strikeouts. He got his share, but he'd pitch into the 7th, the 8th, 9th. He'd pitch a complete game because he pitched a soft contact with that sinker of his. Go ahead and hit it. Pound it into the dirt and hit it to our shortstop.
That one popped foul, and after the second pitch of this at-bat, I can confirm Macarota's cleats are tied up well because De Los Santos tried to get him to swing out of them. The count's now 1-2.
He sure got a hack at that one, didn't he?
Oh, catches him square in the back, and that one had some velocity. I hope Macarota's okay on that one. He's going to jog it off. Tristan Clark's going to come check on him. That one looked painful, squarely in the number.
Yeah, that was unfortunate all the way around there to lose the batter that you look pretty good against, but also to see him get hit like that. He still grimacing out there on first base. You could tell that one hurt. That one hurt.
Already one of the bigger guys on the team. Takes one in the back. We'll see how he runs here should he be needed to. Wild pitch. Speaking of, Watt, the good throw to second, not in time. Macabrota will advance in the wild pitch.
Good base running there, seeing the ball that was going to get to the grass. That's kind of a guideline. If you see that a ball gets away from the catcher and makes it to the grass, that's a ball you should be running on.
And credit to Macabrota after that moment, still in discomfort, resets, has the wherewithal to make that run.
It's been my experience.
Oh, Clark sends that one up in the gap between the short and third base spots. Takioka the throw back in. Macabrota stand up on third after the stand-up single by Tristan Clark.
Sorry, it's been my experience that you players who get hit by pitches are most inclined to run. It's almost a payback. They really want to run on a pitcher that hit them. So now it's the bottom of the order, but it's a bunch of right-handed sticks, so you've got to be real careful with this guy. You got another lefty Hull on deck. And then the catcher, and then another lefty and odd. I believe there's 5 lefties in this Baycat order.
That sounds about right, yeah. So ball one here, runners on the corners, no outs in the inning for Clayton Keys.
So you cannot let Keys hurt you here.
That one in low in the zone, giving him a hitter's count. Here's 2-0 to Keys, who already has an RBI on the day.
You know, if he hits a fly ball and gets a sac fly, so be it. You got a runner on third and nobody out. You almost concede that run, but you can't let this guy hurt you. Nice pitch there.
Beautiful pitch. Horizontal movement, gets back in the zone, 2-1.
That goes beyond a slider. It's almost a sweeper.
Kicks and deals. That one chopped foul right into the parking lot area. Ooh. I think there's a perfect gap between 2 cars that ball got through, but we were starting to get the memo. Nobody park on the first base line. We're starting to lose it again. That parking lot's getting busy.
Yeah. Yes, and once again, I was happy to have found a spot out in the big lot.
Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. There you go.
Yeah, that's really smart pitch right there. He was sitting fastball because he just pushed one off to the right and you buried a slider down low. Really, really good pitch there.
I know you said you were mentally conceding that run on third potentially. I don't think Pedro De Los Santos is. I think he's a guy that he's been around baseball a long time. He's been in situations I'm sure worse than this. He's a guy pitching with confidence. This time did know a hole. Hall sends that one out to left field. Can Takioka get under it? Yes, he can. Can he get the throw home in time? Oh, if he had got there. Cassidy Watt and the double run as the base runner on first. Tristan Clark jumps to second. I got to say, Takioka gets a hand on that baseball. I thought he might have the throw in. One of the best arms in the league, but the run does come in to score.
Well, the thing was he wasn't running toward the plate. That was a nice catch to get to the ball very close to the third base line. So he is running to his right, and so he basically could get very little on that. So that's a ball that needs to be cut so that you can get the runner at second base. They could be out of this inning if they cut that run. They cut the ball off, and they get the runner at second base.
So 2 outs in the inning, but now a 5-0 lead for the Barrie Baycats. Runner on second as Tristan Clark advanced on this sac fly. That one in for a strike. Quick 0-2 here against Tyler Plumpton. Flew out and then grounded into a double play back in the third. Adam Ott on deck, should he be needed. This could end the top of the fifth. Whew, almost got it back in there with the nice movement on the slider, but no dice.
So we're in the same situation here we were with Keys. You got a right-handed hitter up with a left-handed hitter on deck, and he's been, other than the guy he hit, he's been deadly on lefties. And so this is a guy you can't let Plumpton drive this run in. If he gets on base, so be it. But you attack the lefty.
Lazy swing there, and that will end the inning. 3 strikeouts there for De Los Santos through 2 innings. Overall, 7 on the day for the Brantford Red Sox. They're getting swing and miss stuff. It's just the hit prevention they got to work on.
Well, interesting. We were just talking about that before this inning. They get a lot of strikeouts, but those mistake pitches are costing them runs every time. And that's the same thing. The mistake pitch, instead of getting wrapped into the gap, was the mistake pitch was hitting Macabroda, a lefty, who then goes from first to third on the base hit and then scores on a fly ball. So, 1 run on 1 single. The Red Sox are getting a hit every inning. They're not scoring the runs. Barrie is getting 1 hit in an inning and scoring a run.
I want to spotlight very quickly, and I'm sure the league has spotlighted him enough. He's an IBL All-Star reserve for a reason, hitting .459, and that's gained notice around the league. But Ren Takioka on defense, man, he really ranges out stuff there in left field that you don't see a lot of the road fielders, especially in the corners, have success with here at Arnold Anderson, almost as though they're not ready for the wide, corners on the outfield. But Ren Takioka is able to range for balls, even as a shorter player with less stride length, they truly astound me. And a couple of those today, I'd say at least 2 I would chalk up. Catches, flyouts, or singles that he one-hops and catches that could be triples, or those flyouts that could be doubles. And at this point in the game, with how many runners they've got to third, this could be an 8-0 ball game, if not for a few key catches.
Agree fully. Like I say, the only unfortunate thing was the fact that he wasn't able to get any momentum toward the plate to try and get Macabroda at home on the sac fly opportunity. But a great play just to make the catch. That's a bit of an, I've been out at that end, and there's picnic tables out there, there's fences, there's all kinds of objects outside of foul territory into the out of play areas that, can really get into the head of an outfielder when they're really ranging to the baseline to try and catch a humpback liner like that one was. And so this whole outfield, though, when Paulus is playing with Black and Wright, it's a plus outfield all the way around, defensively and offensively. It's an outfield that I'm not sure it's quite at the same level, but it is very similar to the one we had a couple years ago in Kitchener, where we had Blake Jacklin in left, Andy Leader in center, and Jet Jarvis in right. It was an outfield that was solid offensively and defensively, taking up the 9, 1, and 2 holes in the batting order. All guys who could pick them up and lay them down, all guys who could steal bases, all guys who could hit for a little bit of power. Jarvis not so much, but both of the other 2 certainly could hit for power, and all 3 were plus outfielders defensively.
Strike 1 in there on Vaplin as Benitez opens up the 5th inning with a strike, then a ball. 1-1 the count, and to tip pitches a little bit on the Brantford Red Sox report on my side, my list earlier, that was one of those key things in terms of personnel for this team. You got the outfield locked down, build from the back to the front. Ideally keeping Cassidy Watt there at the catcher. Just really, if you can shore up this infield, if you're the Brantford Red Sox, I think you got almost the perfect offensive personnel.
Well, there's certainly the potential is there. Ooh, heads up. Shot goes into the Barrie dugout there.
2-2 now to Josiah DeVaplin. Next up on deck is Lucas Lefebvre. And then back to the top of the order.
These are two guys that you really need to start hearing from. Speaking of the Brantford batting order, these are two guys you need to start hearing from, DeVaplin and Lefebvre. DeVaplin specifically, he's not really a plus defender, so you really anticipate that he's going to be a good hitter. Coming out of the 8-hole, it can give them real depth if he can start hitting.
I mean, that 9 spot, not typically a pressure spot in the lineup, and so you realize that's where guys like Adam Odd, like Jonathan Salazzo are hitting there for their respective teams, or at least that's where they hit against us, as that one's fouled back once again to keep the at-bat going.
I mean, yeah, we had Junior Ibarra hitting in the 8-hole 2 years ago. That's how good the Kitchener lineup was. But, 8-hole is generally, for me personally, whenever I make a batting order, that's if I had a batter to hide, that's where I'd hide him in the 8-hole. The 9-hole, I wanted someone who could turn the order over.
Right.
Unfortunately, that was a pitch that was up around the letters that got DeVaplin to go after, So hopefully Lefebvre can get something going here so the top of the order could start making some noise.
DeVaplin sat down there, his 9th strikeout of the season. Here's Lucas Lefebvre. Oh,
careful.
Right inside on him. Had a chance to lean in on that one for an HBP. Instead, he'll take it for ball 1. Brody Black now on deck. Benitez, the 1-0. That one right down Main Street for for strike 2. Good horizontal movement this time back inside on the plate.
He's so good at that get me over curveball.
Lefebvre flew out in the 3rd inning. His only other at bat today. That one popped up and over our heads.
Yeah, it was really, when we say fly out, it was a deep fly out to center field, if memory serves. A real nice catch by
McGarry Doyle out there,
Yep.
Yeah, 10 feet. You got to think that was off the outfield fence, which, like you said, that was off one of the corners. That was to right field. Would have been a no-doubter. That one sent right at the second baseman, who will field it cleanly. Adam Odd makes the nice catch there.
He's had a solid game thus far at second base defensively.
And I know we hype up the shortstop and his importance as kind of a quarterback on defense a lot of the time. That second base position, that comfort that as soon as the ball's there to the glove, there's no little hops like we've seen with Lefebvre. There's no uncertainty. The first baseman's ready and the shortstop's ready because they know that ball's in your glove. That certainty really feeds into the rest of the outfield or infield defensively.
Well, even though second base is known as the easiest position to play defensively, it doesn't mean that you can go out there and play it haphazardly. You need somebody with good hands. He doesn't have to have a strong arm. It's only a 60, 70-foot throw. You just need somebody with glue in their gloves. Whenever he gets to it, it's going to stick to that glove so he can make that short throw over to first base.
The ball low below the zone. Benitez 1-1 now to Brody Black. 1 for 2 on the day. That one in for a low strike. Strike 2, 1-2. So 1-2, 2 outs. This could end the bottom of the 5th. And it will. Swing and a miss for Brody Black. That is strikeout number 4 on the day for Benitez. And that will bring us into the 6th inning in a ball game that was a little slow early. I know we had the sun delay, but now that the pitchers are really starting to get into their element, hitters, when they don't have it, you know right away. Not a lot of long at-bats in these last couple innings. Hitters are just going out there, and either the pitchers got their number or they don't. And we got a 5-0 ball game here against the Barrie Baycats.
Well, what you really love about what Benitez is doing, has he walked anybody? I don't think he might. If he has, he's walked maybe one guy.
Had a hit by pitch on Ortega, but no actual walks.
He hit Ortega in his first at bat. But other than that, he's just, like I said, pitching to soft contact. I don't know how many pitches he is, but it's somewhere around 60, I think. And that's what you want in your guy. He just keeps pitching to contact, getting the soft contact. They're playing fantastic defense behind him, solid, flawless defense in behind him. And, to your point, after a very slow start, this game started trucking right along.
We'll take a quick break here on the Brantford Red Sox IBL YouTube channel. We'll be back here in just a moment. And welcome back to the IBL Brantford Red Sox YouTube channel. Coming to you live from Arnold Anderson Stadium. Getting ready for the top of the 6th here as Pedro De Los Santos readies for his 3rd inning of work. Swing and a miss on his very first pitch to Ahmad. 1 for 2 today, singled in the 2nd, grounded out in the 4th.
So another good situation for De Los Santos here, where you 4 of the next 5 hitters are lefties, and he's just been really, really hard on lefties.
The 0-1. Swing and a
Check
missing.
that. Check it.
They're checking it. I'd say he went around for sure, and the third base umpire agrees. 0-2. That was a weird one where his shoulder angle didn't match his hands. I think his hands went around too much on the shoulders. So,
Well, the bat certainly crossed the plate. I could tell that from behind.
Pedro De Los Santos, that one chopped right up over his head. Can he get it there in time? Ooh, good range by DeVapolin. What a play there
Showing
for the
big
first
stretch
out.
there.
Holy cow.
I was concerned that ball went way up in the air.
Josiah DeVapolin's got to give his Pilates instructor's card out to a couple people. That was some impressive lateral range there.
Not to mention those quick feet from a, how can I put this, a guy who it doesn't exactly look like an elite athlete in De Los Santos. I always reminded of the 1990s, a fellow named John Kruk, first baseman with the Philadelphia Phillies, who told a woman he was a major league player, and she said, you don't look like an athlete. And he said, I'm not an athlete, lady, I'm a ball player. Anybody knows John Kruk, first of all, one of the funniest guys ever to play the game of baseball, but he also, let's just say, he had a very similar body type to De Los Santos, except for he was about 4 or 5 inches taller, I think. He was a big dude.
It's kind of a double-edged sword. The athletic, posture of baseball players, not well known in the public, but it's well understood that hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things you can do, in pitching the same way. So, swing and a miss there. Pedro De Los Santos is absolutely racking up the Ks. That's 3 on his last 5 batters. That one was against McGarry Doyle as well.
He's murder on lefties.
Well, here's Brandon Hernandez, the first of the pair. Home run, that 2 RBI home run opened up the game. Since then, though, strikeout, got on base on an error there in the 4th.
Yeah, after the 4 in the first, after the 4 spot in the first inning, I mean, it's a 1-0 game for over the next 4 innings. It's been a really well-pitched game since then.
And the Baycats don't project to get more runs with De Los Santos pitching the way he has. Right as I say that, that one's wide of the catcher for ball 1 and a wild pitch if there were runners on base. 1-1 now to Brandon Hernandez. Ooh, that one worked its way back. Must have been a little bit too high for the home plate umpire. 2-1.
Yeah, a little chin music there now. Maybe go hard, low and away.
Taking a long time. Kicks and deals. Swing and a miss. Brandon Hernandez is one of many victims of that slider. 2-2-2 reads the scoreboard. 1 pitch could end the top of the 6th. And Pedro De Los Santos is dealing.
Same pitch.
Watts sets up a little outside. That one fouled off. Good job by Hernandez to keep this one alive. just to slow the momentum of De Los Santos at this point is valuable for his side.
So he threw the fastball, and Hernandez was way behind it, so you're tempted to go back with it. I'd be real worried about hanging a slider here because you got his bat sped up. So if you're going to throw a slider, you don't want it in the zone, even though it's 3-2.
That one chopped over the head of the third baseman. Can Takioka get there?
Oh!
What a catch in the left field area. Oh my goodness, Ren Takioka. Forward that guy's mail to the left field line because he has been out there every single fly ball, and he is 3 for 3 on beautiful catches. What a player.
Put a star beside that one. What a play.
It disappeared behind the fence for me, and instinctively I was going to say no way he got to it. He leans out again, and for, a shorter player out there in the outfield, you think about how much more range he's covering. He is just on offense, on defense. We were talking today before the show taping. 459 as a batting average just isn't sustainable in sports, and being a smaller outfielder and consistently making not only routine catches but big ranging plays, that's equally improbable on defense. He's just an enigma.
That was wonderful, and like I've said at least once before, defensively, all you want your team to do is make all the plays that they're supposed to make, and then the occasional play that they shouldn't make, and that certainly qualifies as the latter more than the former. And as is many times the case with a guy who makes a big defensive play, I think he's up this inning as well. I believe Ortega's up with Takioka and Watt. So let's hope the Red Sox can use some of that momentum and push a run across here, because like I said, this has been vintage Benitez, the NFL equivalent of bend but don't break.
Yeah. Well, if you're the Brantford Red Sox, what kind of hitter do you want here? Benitez coming into his 6th inning of work. He's about to face the lineup for the 3rd time. And if you need to work a lead back, you got 5 runs to make up here in the late stages. You want an all-star, and that's what we got coming up to the plate here. Chris Ortega, star of the very first episode of the Brantford Red Sox Report. After this broadcast done, go check it out. It's posted on YouTube there. Went up, I believe, on Tuesday. I got a chance to sit down with Chris Ortega for the inaugural episode of our new weekly show. Don't forget that goes up live 10 p.m. on Rogers TV. And then it's re-aired throughout the week. Check your local Rogers TV Channel 20 listing for when that goes out. But it's on YouTube right now. After this broadcast, go support Chris Ortega. Check it out. He gave lots of insight not only into his past, but his approach the rest of the year and how he feels he, Takioka, and some of the other stars can elevate this Red Sox team. And what better chance to elevate them than right now?
It sure is nice to get to know these guys, too. Like, I've met some of these fellas, and they're good young men. Like, they aren't just good ball players. They're good young men as well. They're interesting. They're articulate. And they're deep thinkers, some of them.
Sometimes as an organization, you got to get good people first, good ball players later. We've certainly got the former, and as the season goes on, it's starting to look like we've got the latter. Inside on the hands, 2-0, and Chris Ortega. I know Benitez is one of the best in the league, but Ortega's not a guy you want to give a 2-0 count.
The only thing about this situation is they need base runners, so you don't want to get too...
That one struck well past the shortstop and third baseman. Chris Ortega opens up the bottom of the 6th with a single. Here comes Takioka. He's already got a hit on the day, 1 for 2, which means he currently has bumped that league-leading 459 batting average up even a little bit further. Although if the game ends right now, next time I get my scorer sheet, he's going to be second on the team in batting average to Jacob Cantor, who's 2 for 2 in his time as a Red Sox.
In the classic small sample size.
So here's Takioka. Now he's got Ortega in front of him on first. That one in on the outside corner, strike 1. Takioka, more than I'm used to seeing, is letting himself get in pitcher's counts here early today. He's watching balls go by for relatively confident strikes.
Well, the thing with Benitez.
Shows bunt. Straight up.
That's interference.
That was absolutely catcher's interference. Got right under the baseball there, and Tyler Plumpton called it right away.
The catcher, number 15, Cassidy Watt.
So tough moment there for Ren Takioka. He at least wanted to go further into that AB, but here's Cassidy Watt, 1 out. Ortega on first. It'll be Watt, then Bateman. Still some heavy hitters here in this Brantford lineup to come. That one wide off the plate, ball one. Benitez not really controlling the strike zone like we were seeing there in the early innings. He's now up to 80 pitches on the day.
Well, they have done a good job. The thing about Benitez, he won't throw a complete game because of the amount of base runners he gives up. And so it tends to throw a few extra pitches. Plus, he doesn't have the overpowering velocity on his fastball. So that, like I say, even though he pitches to contact, he rarely faces the minimum 3 hitters in any given inning.
1-1-1 reads the scoreboard. Ortega on first. Cassidy Watt gets the bat on it, but sends it straight backwards. 1-2 now the count. So 1-2. Bateman then Cantor on deck. Inside on the hands. Did it get the hand or did it get the bat? I think they'll say the bat.
Yep, fouled off the bat.
Count stays 1-2. Remember, Benitez, only 4 strikeouts to this point in the ball game. But only allowed 3 hits. Swing and a miss there for Cassidy Watt. And that's number 5 for Juan Benitez. Lucas Bateman, the next man up. Ortega opened the inning up with a single. And since then, it has been radio silent from the Brantford Bats.
See, if anyone was to bunt, I would have thought it would be Bateman. Look where that third baseman, he's a good 15 feet behind the base. Get one down the third base line.
First one in, close side of the plate, but is in the zone. Strike 1. Bateman's 0 for 2 today. Grounded out in the first, flew out in the fourth.
Especially with Cantor literally owning Benitez with 2 hits on 3 or 4 pitches.
That one chopped foul. 0-2, 2 outs. Next pitch could end the inning. Would be strikeout number 6 on the day. Ortega, bigger lead off first. That one chopped straight at the third base area.
Stay fair.
Stays fair?
Nope.
No, it doesn't. Goes foul just before the plate. All the way back, Lucas Bateman will make the trot. And Cooper out to grab his bat.
Nice job to fight off a good curveball from Benitez there. Benitez has, by and large, used that hard slider on the outside of the plate to the right-handed hitter as his out pitch.
Sits him down. Bateman swings high, and strikeout number 6 on the day for Juan Benitez.
And for the 6th consecutive inning, the Brantford Red Sox get a base runner and fail to score him.
Well, we're going to throw to a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll be ready for the top of the 7th inning. We thank you for joining us for a Friday night of IBL Baseball here on the Brantford Red Sox IBL YouTube channel. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hard line drive up the middle. Whoa! Lindor out of nowhere. How did he do that?
That Lindor can play. I don't know about that hair. And don't get me started on those gloves.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
It's time for a revolution. The Ref 1X by Ronald.
Get ready, Hamilton. It's the 2025 IBL Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. Hosted by the Hamilton Cardinals at beautiful Barrie Baycats Stadium. Watch the league's top sluggers crush moonshots in the Derby. Then see the best of the best go head-to-head under the lights in the All-Star Game. Grab your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com because this summer, the stars shine brightest in Hamilton.
And welcome back to Brantford, Ontario, here at Arnold Anderson Stadium for more IBL action as the visiting Barrie Baycats currently hold a 5-0 lead through 6 innings, getting ready for the top of the 7th. Well, don't worry, Brantford Red Sox fans. Pedro De Los Santos has been holding us down. He's been holding down the fort, trying to keep this lead as reasonable as he can, and he's done exceptionally through his first 3 innings. Already 4 strikeouts through only 1 run through the lineup.
Yeah, exceptional is a word I would use. Really, one run on 1 hit.
Francisco Hernandez gets a bat on that one, but sends it straight down, strike 1. Macabrota on deck.
This is a difficult part of the lineup for him. If he can get through this, we may be able to get him through the 7th and the 8th. It's a big at-bat here.
That one fouled off to the parking lot. Early 0-2.
I tell you, this Hernandez is not the biggest guy. As a number 3 hitter, you know, if you look at all the number 3 hitters in the league, tonight notwithstanding with Takioka, but, you know, he's not a big guy for a 3 hitter, but boy, does the ball ever pop off his bat.
That ball lazily sent right back at De Los Santos, though against his credit, he didn't get a glove on it, but luckily will reset. The count will remain 0-2. Hernandez designated as a center fielder on the IBL site, which tracks with the body type, I would say.
Yeah, he does. Like, he looks more like a 1 or a 2 hitter than a 3 hitter. But like I say, when you watch him make contact, even the balls he fouls off, the ball just flies off his bat. Generates a ton of bat speed.
Wild pitch. Luckily, nobody on base, and he's got balls to give. 1-2.
That's a good waste pitch there. So what's really been working for him against the righties is the low slider, getting the ball down, getting people to pound the ball into the dirt, which is something we wanted Klepper to do, but he was up a little bit, and it cost him in the first inning. But Santos has been just lights out on his execution pitches. Let's see if he can execute one more time. I kind of foresee a low slider here.
Here's the 1-2.
Gas.
That one popped straight up.
Ooh, there's a
Watt throws the mask away. Oh, comes down.
Foul ball, thankfully. Lucky.
What? Thankfully, DeVaplin gets up all right. I'm not sure if he tripped on the prone mask there by Watt, but I think Watt had the angle bang on. He was called off, and you got to think the catcher always takes precedent in those situations.
Just sorry to disagree with you, but
yeah.
in fair territory, there's a diagram. Someday we'll make one up for your graphics there of priority catches.
Okay.
So your shortstop and your second baseman take the priority. Your corner infielders are next, then your catcher, then your pitcher. So one that goes out into the middle, especially when it's that high up,
right.
That is a corner infielder got to get charged. Because the reason is, first of all, you don't want your pitcher to take anything.
Right.
That's just a standard rule. Your catcher it's almost like an over-the-shoulder catch for an outfielder where your catcher has to run out there and turn around.
Right, because the momentum.
Right, so that is a play for one of the corner infielders, and judging where the ball landed, that should be a first baseman's play. He's playing very deep with a right-handed hitter up. So, like I say, that's one where a corner infielder, like that ball went up, way up. It went up above the lights there. That's one where you expect a corner infielder to go in and make a play.
That's a great point that I really don't think about, and I think a lot of people at home, you don't notice those little things. They just seem situational. A guy just calls for it. But interesting to note. Yeah, we should definitely get that graphic for next week. 2-2, no outs. De Los Santos against Hernandez. We're going to take time. It was a long wait there. No pitch clock here in the IBL, but De Los Santos was in the MLB pipeline at a time there wasn't one, so he's used to taking his time. 2-2. That one a little bit too wide. Going to go to a full count. Only his second of the game. Tammy on the YouTube chat just asking for clarification why that play we talked about with DeVaplin was registered as a foul ball.
Because it landed in fair territory, rolled into foul territory, and was not touched by a defender. If the ball goes foul before it passes the base, oh dear.
Well struck ball over the head of Brody Black, who's arranging for it. Over his head, into the warning track, just barely avoids that outfield fence, so he'll come in with a stand-up double. That ball looked identical to Lucas Lefebvre's flyout earlier in the game.
That ball was crushed. My goodness, if that is anywhere else in the park, it is gone. Sorry, just to finish my point.
Yeah.
If the ball lands in fair territory anywhere before it reaches the first or third base bags and rolls into foul territory, it is a foul ball. So the ball could land, a lined shot could go and hit second base and miraculously bounce straight back and go into foul territory. It's still a foul ball.
Just to take a fun shot at Mark Perry and the entire Kitchener Panthers crew, both that last hit and the Lucas Lefebvre fly out from earlier, that ball is 150 feet over center field into the freeway at Jack
That ball's
Couch.
on Highway 8 at Jack Couch, absolutely. That ball's gone in Guelph because it cuts across at Hastings. That ball might have been gone in London as well.
That ball's through my front door window, and I live 15 minutes from the ballpark. That one swung on. Macabrota now 1-1.
So I just want to clarify something. If it hits the pitcher's mound and goes foul, it's foul. But if it hits any bag, it's a fair ball. That would be something if a line shot hit the second base bag and rolled foul. That's something I've been around this game a long time. I've never seen that.
2-1 now the count. That one in for a ball. Francisco Hernandez on second base. No outs. Top of the seventh. 48 pitches on the day so far for De Los Santos. Good power, rough location. That one too wide, too low. 3-1.
Boy, how did he really? you have to sit in our chair to really get a full appreciation of how far that ball was hit and still stayed in the ballpark.
That one struck right at the second baseman. Lefebvre gloves it cleanly. Gets it to Devapolin. The runner will advance to third. That's Francisco Hernandez now on third base, but at least they record the out.
So you'd have to think that Brantford's going to bring the infield in here. They can't give up another run. It's already, five's a lot already. I'd be real surprised if they didn't bring the infield in, although I must say it looks like corners only from this standpoint.
Good news for Red Sox fans, that Kitchener-Welland contest. Welland's brought the lead back to 6-5. Ball in on the hands, and he went around, says the...
Yeah, really nice slider there.
Is the umpire, 0-1.
I'm really surprised that Cantor is not in here. Oh, here he comes. Okay.
There he goes, jogging in. Just beyond the infield grass.
Yeah, you can't give up another run here. You only got 9 outs left.
There's the 0-1. That one chopped up and over the head of the first baseman. Right in the gap.
That's unlucky.
In comes the run.
Great pitch, sawed him off, and great piece of hitting to fight it off and get it out onto the grass. That is a 110-foot single.
Horrible luck there.
That's been a microcosm of a lot of what we've seen with Brantford Red Sox baseball this year, where they make good pitches and they give up a run anyway. That's a shame.
Sometimes you play baseball, sometimes baseball plays you. That's what happened there.
Truth.
First pitch there to Clayton Keys, up for the fourth time today. RBI single opened up his day, but he struck out 2 times since then, once to Klepper, once to De Los Santos. Here's the 0-1. Inside on the hands, but just in the zone, and Clayton Keys, the body language said he did not agree with the home plate umpire.
Yeah, he's having a rough night tonight.
The 0-2, swing and a miss, ring him up. 5th strikeout in only 3.5 innings for Pedro De Los Santos.
Oh, and another conversation with the umpire. He's about 3 words short of getting kicked out of this game. Manager Josh Matlow jumping out real quick to make sure he doesn't get kicked out.
Gives him the arm nudge back to the dugout. Here's Noah Hull. A walk, fly out, and a strikeout today for him. Was a sack RBI in the flyout, though. We'll try the quick pickoff. Tristan Clark comfortably back onto first base. It's a runner on first.
Nice pitch there. Just a little low. Thought he'd get a call there.
So did I. The bottom quarter of the zone's been more of a talking point for Called strikes today.
Well,
than we've seen
and
the last
like I
couple
say,
games.
I always want to be clear that I'm not down there. I can't. Oh,
Wild pitch there. Will advance Clark to second. Watt still can't find it. Now finally does. Not even so much necessarily our disagreement, to clarify, with the home plate umpire, but just players. We've seen a couple games the last couple games. Maybe it's because we've seen a lot of big leads for the road team that, people are relatively, it's insubstantial, I guess the idea is in the grand scheme of things. But
right.
I think Barrie gets the sense this one is not nearly as out of hand as the 6-0 score would indicate. You can't really take your foot off the gas here in terms of your intensity with the umpires.
Right, and keep in mind that the starting pitcher going into the 7th is already closing in on 90 pitches. So they may have to go to their bullpen yet, and, that'd be the best thing to happen for the Red Sox, to get into the bullpen, even though there is somebody warming up in the bullpen. See if I can get you a number there. 48.
We'll get you an ID on the new reliever. That one inside on the hands again. The first one went over the head of Noah Hull. That one will be the 4th ball that does walk him. 2nd of the day for Noah Hull. So runners now on 1st and 2nd.
Catcher number 44, Tyler Plump.
Well, even though he's a righty, De Los Santos has handled Plumpton pretty well thus far. If my memory serves me, it's almost time you'd start to think some action going on in the bullpen for Brantford, because I think De Los Santos is closing in on 50 pitches.
60. Just hit 60 here. First one in there for a ball. That one, I'm sitting at a little better angle. That one surprised me.
That's what we call the catcher special. The catcher, if the borderline pitches, catchers, generally speaking, will get the call. Because you got to work with these guys, right?
Yeah.
That's, I think I've spoken on previous broadcasts about that.
The dynamic there. Similar spot. That one in for a strike. That time that's going to be sent foul, so 1-2. Chance to get out of the inning here for Pedro De Los Santos. Got an ID on our pitcher there in the bullpen for the Barrie Baycats. That's Chris Torres warming up now. A righty arm. He could relieve Benitez after very strong strike. 3 called. The bottom of the zone, it's been tough to find, but De Los Santos, he's started to master it in the late stages of this game. That is strikeout number 6 for Pedro De Los Santos. And if they earn this game back, this is one of the great, not just relief pitching performances, this is one of the great Red Sox pitching performances we've seen this year, because De Los Santos had some rough luck behind him. I don't think they've built up that belief that if a ball goes to first or there's a textbook play like the one we saw, take that weird bounce foul, the infield hasn't, given him the confidence that they're going to make every play, and he still goes out there, he trusts his stuff, and he challenges batters, and he is. I think he's given up 2 since he came in, but the way this Barrie Baycats lineup is approaching balls and when they barrel them up, the way they're hitting for power, to hold this to within 2 runs out of 4 relief innings, exceptional day for number 35.
And it's fair to say that both of those runs were hard luck runs, because he hit Macabrota, and then he came around to score on a fly ball that was not deep, but it just happened to be along at the baseline, where Takioka was running away from the plate, so it was almost impossible to throw him out. And then, of course, the fisted base hit that went all of 110 feet over a drawn-in infield. And you have to think that if the infield is not drawn in, Devapolin has been playing deep there, and so he's got to go back maybe 10, 12 feet, and that's just a humpback liner that's easily caught. So, credit to Barrie, who are getting the at-bats that they need. They get runners in scoring position, and they have good at-bats, and that's one thing that the Brantford Red Sox have not done tonight. They have had runners on base every single inning. There has not been a single 3-up and 3-down inning in this game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe so. So at the end of the day, you've got a situation where they are 0 for a bunch with runners on base. Probably somewhere around 0 for 8, I would think, with runners on base.
Taking another look around the IBL, tie ball game there in in London, pardon me. The Hamilton visiting Cardinals tied that one up 4-4 that game against the London. Very important towards the top of the IBL score standings. And the Kitchener Panthers, we go into the bottom of the 9th. The Welland Jackfish at home, down by 1. First pitch in there to Jacob Cantor. 2 for 2 in his Red Sox career so far. 2 singles on his day so far.
And he's not been one to look at a lot of pitches. As soon as it's a see-ball, hit ball, first fastball he sees, he's probably hacking at it.
Now they're not pitching to him. That's 2 balls from Benitez.
Well, here's the thing. At this point, I don't know if he goes so far as to what we call take a strike, but you've got to grind out at bats here. You got to get deep into at bats. See, and that's precisely what I'm talking about. You're down 6-0. It's a 2-0 count, and he throws you a curveball. That check swing there, that's not. As soon as you see that pitch bend, you should be laying off that on a 2-0 count at this point in the game.
2-1. That one just finds the bottom corner. Cantor, the body language said maybe wasn't happy. Either way, finds himself in the longest count he's had as a Red Sox, 2-2.
Got to think he's coming back with a curveball here. No,
that one well struck out to the gap between center and right. Will that ball come down? Yes, it will. Unfortunately, Jacob Cantor will be flown out to Noel McGarry-Doyle, but I love what I'm seeing so far from him. That was a nice swing. Didn't quite find the gap. Carried too far, but a 2-2 swing. That's a good piece of hitting.
Yeah, for a 2-strike swing, that was pretty. Like I said, the only thing there with a 2-0 count, swinging at a junky deuce, that's just a little bit of plate discipline that is just not really been prevalent with the Brantford Ball Club that we've seen a whole lot of. Torson struggled tonight too. I'd like to see him get going.
Yeah, ground ball double play, then a regular ground out in the 4th. That one popped up and over our heads. Back in a rough count once again, 0-2 this time. Josiah DeVaplin up in the batter's circle. Then Lucas Lefebvre would round out the lineup for the 3rd time. That one low and in the dirts. Good job by Plumpton to get behind that one, but nobody on base. 1-2. Here's Torsen. Chops that one foul. Right back into that.
That's a second or third ball that's gone flying into the Brantford dugout. Or, excuse me, the Barrie dugout.
Got to stay hot over there. 1-2, 1 out in the inning. This is Benitez in his 7th inning, taking on Matt Torsen. Torsen strikes that one well, but straight to the shortstop, Brandon Hernandez. Fields it cleanly. Macabrota will make the catch, and we saw a lot of substitutions by this point on defense. Last time we played the Barrie Baycats when they were up about 10 runs. They've kept their starters in, and the starters on defense have played exceptionally tonight. Well, no pressure really here on DeVaplin besides just the general need to get that run differential down. Nobody on base in front of him, and he'd be the last out of the inning. No hits tonight. He's now 2 for 17 in his Red Sox career.
Yeah, he needs something good to happen in this at-bat here, something productive, and even if it doesn't end up in a hit.
If Jacob Cantor continues playing as well as he has tonight, risk of getting bumped out as that one's sent up into the first base parking lot. And with how much we're rotating the defense, the thing about it here for DeVaplin is with Cantor playing well, anybody that comes in can bump you out of the lineup no matter what position you play on defense. They can substitute the defense around to make a good guy fit. Inside on the hands, strike 3, strikeout number 2 on the day.
Red Sox in the 7-0 across.
Well, once again, when we come back for the Brantford Red Sox offense, the Lucas Lefebvre is going to lead us off, and I feel like that's just where we've been all day. I mean, the way that they've designed the lineup is interesting because Black and Ortega are almost always the 2nd and 3rd out of the inning, respectively. We're not really getting back to Takioka, so he's actually almost been kind of a de facto leadoff hitter. It's interesting today.
Well, that's the other thing moving to Takioka down to the 3-hole is that you don't necessarily get that key at bat in a situation. So, I get it. They're trying to mess around with it, trying to get a spark, I guess. We're in a situation right now where they're in a bit of a lull. They need something good to happen to the ball club.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning for that Welland-Kitchener contest. We'll keep you updated as soon as that final pitch of the game comes in, if indeed it does end that game.
Is that Garcia in pitching for Kitchener, I assume?
Yes, it is. His pitch of the last 3 innings, the 7-8-9 to close. And that is out number 3, Brandon Luther. The F3 to end that ball game. The Kitchener Panthers pick up their 3rd straight win tonight on the road against the league best Welland Jackfish. Talk about a team